worth of product was stolen from a Best Buy store. Surveillance video has allowed authorities to identify two people as the theft suspects. One is from the state of New York, and the other is yet to be identified. A chiropractor out of Hoover has been indicted by a federal grand jury for tax evasion and filing false tax returns. Gary Edwards is the owner of Hoover Health and Wellness Center. The charges against Edwards involved $2.4 million in unpaid taxes from 2009 to 2013. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
What's your biggest investment? More than likely, it's your home. So treat it that way when you hire a painting contractor. At PBS Painting, there are no gimmicks, no $99 specials. Just quality painting and someone who treats your home with the same respect that you do. At PBS Painting, we have been painting for years and look forward to many more years to come. With PBS Painting, the job gets prepped properly, whether it's cleaning, scraping, or priming. We always use quality products, which is a must for a quality paint job. So if you're looking for a painter that doesn't need upfront money and is on the job at all times, then please give me a call. Scott Bowers and PBS Painting, 294-5122. That's PBS Painting, 294-5122. Look at some of our work on Facebook at PBS Painting Montgomery.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome into the program here on a Friday. A lovely Friday. Well, it's actually kind of hot outside here in Montgomery, Alabama, and surrounding areas. My usual Friday sidekicks, co-hosts are here. We have, of course, Eddie Bader and Craig Monger. How you two gentlemen doing?
I'm fine in the frog hair.
Fine in the frog hair?
Fine in the frog hair.
Oh, wow. That's fine, man. So, are we worried that Kamala's going to win?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes? Yes.
You're genuinely you worried?
No,
You're not worried?
not really.
Why aren't you bothered by it?
This has been 1 week of hype, and there's no substance behind it. And even the hype is not really
Yeah, but what
sticking.
about Trump stepping in it? He kind of ended his campaign when he said, and she happened to become a black person. Like, didn't he step in it there? That's very offensive.
I'm sure people were offended by it. Even some people were pretending to be offended by it. But at the end of the day, nah.
They should check my group chats.
Right.
No, but then I saw a clip. It was, I believe, J.D. Vance was asked about it by a CNN reporter, and he said something to the effect of, all President Trump was saying is she's a phony, that she's a chameleon, that she will say whatever she needs to say. Wait, she's trying to run as a tough-on-crime prosecutor when she had some of the biggest open border policies ever. And I think that's what's going to happen, is Trump did this on purpose. Here's what I'm coming from. I'm going to the great Scott Adams for this. He said, Trump used a persuasion technique called entering your illusion. Entering your illusion. When he questioned Harris's racial identity at the National Association of Black Journalists Conference. And you can already see how well it worked, writes Scott Adams. I've described this technique to my audience over the years. I've learned it when training to be a hypnotist. And I've used it successfully a number of times. It's a powerful tool. The method involves accepting the illusion you are trying to defeat and showing its absurdity by taking it to its obvious conclusion. Trump accepted the Democrat worldview that identity is the key variable, then casually discussed the incongruity, or how's that said?
Incongruity.
Yeah, that's a tough word.
The thing.
Yeah, like of Harris in terms of our identity. Now, it just doesn't add up. And he did it in front of an audience organized by their identity. This particular persuasion will continue to sink in, to marinate, and to get more powerful over time. The losing play in this situation would have been to argue against using identity to choose candidates. that would be a non-starter. Instead, he quote-unquote entered their illusion and left a huge turd in the middle of the living room. It was one of the best persuasion plays in political history, but it will take some time to see it do its magic.
Well, it is true, and I think that it is vintage Trump to go after the sacred cows.
Yes.
And in Kamala's case, that's more accurate than not, considering the Indian part. That was a double entendre. She is a cow, and she has sacred
It
cows.
just, like,
Bada bing, bada boom.
That's too much.
But the reason that I am worried is specifically because of that clip that I shared on X and that you played on the show yesterday from Bhagwan Sri Rajneesh, and democracy's for the people, by the people, but the people,
Of the people, yeah.
are R-worded. And
So you don't think people are going to buy into this?
No, I think the same R-words that voted for Joe Biden are likely going to vote for Kamala Harris.
You don't think they've gained, or none have come over to Trump at all? Or not enough?
I don't think enough. And also, I swear, I was the biggest non-tinfoil hatter after 2020, but I'm like, they're really putting their bets on a lame horse here. And I think they just needed a warm body to put a fraud behind. And they weren't exactly sure that old Joey Boy was going to be warm come November.
100%.
So I think they, if there is a concerted effort to rig elections, then they just need someone who's breathing.
Now, do you think she'll be the candidate even after the convention?
Yes.
Okay.
Because they're not going to humiliate Obama. They're not going to humiliate Biden. They're not going to humiliate all of these sacred Democratic cows who have come out and endorsed her. It's all this money has already gone to her. It's all but concluded at this point.
I mean, they can't do the switcheroo again. Yeah, they can't do the switcheroo again. That's not allowed. Though in that Cy Hirsch piece that was put out, Cy Hirsch said that Obama warned Kamala, if you crash and burn, we're going to go with somebody else. If she crashes and burns, say next week,
Yeah.
Well,
maybe they do the switcheroo.
When's the debate coming up? Do we have a date or anything on that? Because she hadn't been really in front of the press in 10 days.
Donald Trump, if you have something to say, you can say it to my face.
Okay.
Walk it like you talk it, Donald.
I would rather say it to the barrel of a shotgun. Say it to that ugly, cackling mug.
Well, but then this went down to this point on CNN. And again, I think this is going to move beyond the racial identity question because at the end of the day, I don't think it is that important.
Yeah,
I think what's going to happen is that got the foot in the door and the chameleon label will be applied to policies, how she flip-flops. It's sort of what Kerry went through in 2004. But this happened just last night, I believe, on CNN.
So the answer to your question as it relates to that, we all know when, Vice President Kamala Harris ran for, Attorney General, and you can fact check me on this. News outlets said she's the first Indian American. She did run as Indian American. Okay. And then she was chosen.
Okay, I got to pause it here because it's a panel discussion on CNN, and you're seeing all the women, and everybody on the panel is black. All the black women on the panel are now starting to scowl at this gentleman talking. I love the look Van Jones is giving. Van's like, you sly dog, you get here. I see where you're going with this.
For the vice president nominee as the candidate for Joe Biden, and he was told that you will get a black woman. So then she says, well, here is a black woman. So in all fairness, when she asked that question to President Trump, that's a valid answer, because that's based on her.
Wait for the reaction.
Was in her life, what she chose to be at that time. So that's where that answer comes in. So she's the one that did this. She's the one.
Bruce.
Hold on one second. I want to just make clear. I know we're on
But-
this panel.
but am I lying
Excuse me,
about it?
excuse me.
Excuse me.
Sir,
Excuse me.
do not
No,
overtalk me. No, I'm going to
Okay,
give you
but is it
opportunity to
true?
speak. Excuse me.
Okay.
Do not overtalk me on my program.
Well,
I am
somebody else is
trying
yelling
to
in my
give.
ear.
Not on my program.
That's why, if you would allow me to speak, I would clarify the opportunities for each of you on the panel to have a chance to speak and have your own point heard
Right,
to an
right.
audience who's eager and speaking with bated breath to hear your opinion. But you cannot talk over each other. I want everyone to hear. So when you hear this voice
Yeah.
or this ding, ding, ding of the Laura Coates sound, please stop.
Well, that's one way to describe your own voice.
Well, that's that was a 30-second rant while I tried to collect my thoughts to formulate a response
Good cover.
because I have nothing.
I just love how everybody is Other than Van Jones, this Van again is like you slide
I don't
devil,
even think
you.
it's you sly devil. I think Van Jones is someone who's been cuckolded by black women his entire life, and he's on a panel with a bunch of them, and he sees someone standing up to him, and he's just like, "Oh no,
Wait. In a
no,
less
no.
inflammatory way, what do you mean?
What?
I get what you mean, but in a less inflammatory way, what do you mean that he's been?
No, I mean that he's because of his ideology and because in his worldview and in his circle, black women are elevated almost to the point of deity, and their voices even more so. He's actually seeing someone quote unquote talk back, and he's just like, oh no, what are you doing? I'm scared.
Right. But I love how everybody else is like, Bruce, don't you say that, Bruce.
But see, that's the point. That sort of not ingratiating. It's a wrong word. Just that. Oh, you poor stupid soul.
Yeah, don't do it, Bruce.
But what he's saying is objectively true. Like it's not even up for debate.
And there's even an old clip, Don Lemon or Don Lemon, as Tucker would always call him. He's now suing Elon Musk because Musk didn't pick up his show or thought it's just it's sad. And it is amazing to see Tucker leaves cable news and he's the #1 podcast in the world right now.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Somebody like Don Lemon, who's supposed to be sort of Tucker's contemporary, like the counterpoint to Tucker Carlson on CNN, he's crushing and burning in a big way. But this was a few years back where I don't know if Don has a problem with Indian people because you remember his exchange with Vivek? But just listen in. This was on CNN a few years ago.
Black woman.
Okay, that's
Her
fine. I
father
agree with
is a
that.
black
I
man from
agree with
Jamaica.
that. But
Now,
is
I don't
she
wanna get into the
African
pigment. I
American?
don't wanna get into the pigment
No.
issue.
But is she African American? There's a difference. There's nothing wrong with that. No one is trying
So
to
let's
take
go down.
anything
Let's go
away
down.
from
Let's go down
her.
into her lineage.
I
Let's
think
go
you're
down-
falling. I think
if
you're
you wanna
falling
go
into the
her
trap of
lineage-
that. All she had to do was
No.
say, "I am black,
No, I'm
but
not
I'm
falling-
not African American." That's it.
Let
End
me
of
say
story.
this. I'm not falling in a trap. I'm not falling in. Let me finish. Hold on.
Oh,
I'm
no.
not falling into a trap by that.
Bruce.
When she goes down her lineage, many Africans landed in Jamaica and all these other Caribbean islands. So she could indeed
Jamaica's
be
not America.
African American mixed with others. But she is
Jamaica's not America.
But she
Jamaica's not America.
Make that a song. Yeah.
I
Jamaica's
prefer
not
my
American.
Bruces from the Wally Ballou philosophy department.
Oh, my.
You get the reference. Right?
No, I don't, actually. I was just still playing along. Yes, and.
You haven't seen it's an old Monty Python sketch about these Australians who own like a wildlife preserve, but they're all each individual one practices a different type of philosophy, and they have a song about the boozed out philosophers. They love drinking. I'm gonna have. To
I think
send it
I've
to you.
seen the Philosopher Olympics that they've done or something like that. But
No, this is different. This is
Different.
completely different.
Okay, I don't think I know that one.
But it shows the stupidity of the identity politics of the left. That right there. It's like, well, she's not African American. Well, the black people in Jamaica, they originally came from Africa. Well, it's like, how far are we rolling this back?
Right.
It's,
Exactly.
Blackness is a color.
Right.
It's not anything other than that. And by the way, if you really want to get into it, they're not really black.
Well,
Is it a color? Is it an identity? Is it a nationality? What is it? Because like he said, Don Lemon was trying to make the point. Well, she's not technically African American, but they don't care about that. They don't care because they care about black and not black, or black and white.
And again, I think to continue to harp on it, I see why Trump did what he did, and because a lot of other folks have brought it up.
Yeah.
But I'm in that camp of, for instance, one guy I follow, and we're in a minority on our own. Camille Foster is his name. His parents are Jamaican immigrants, and he's very much a libertarian, bordering on anarchist. Camille says the critical question isn't what makes her black or vice versa, talking of Kamala. The question ought to be what makes anyone black, and why should I care either way? Why should anyone? The race taxonomy is largely bankrupt. The designations, including quote-unquote biracial, are all crude plus arbitrary. He's correct. And then again, Scott Adams coming in with another just home run. Racism is so bad in this country that a woman has to claim to be black to run for president.
It's the most vacuous topic of conversation. But I think I can't remember the name of the first guy you mentioned, but he hit the nail on the head. It's not really about race. There's a reason why they won't claim a Clarence Thomas, a Colin Powell, a Thomas Sowell, Candace Owens, God forbid.
Don't put Candace up there with those.
Well, I know. I'm sorry. I'm just saying.
He's a lightweight compared to those guys.
I'm just talking about groups of people that are literally black that they accuse of being not black. So black is an identity to them.
Right.
And it's an ideological identity. But they haven't yet parsed that out and haven't had a way to articulate it. So that's why you see them stumbling over themselves in these conversations, because they're talking about one thing that is actually multiple things. But again, talking about the race aspect, Trump was correct in pointing out how phony and how, like you said, chameleon-like she is. But I think it could have been easily predicted that it would have led to the conversations that we're seeing now, which are not about how utterly stupid and awful Kamala has been in her record, and it's now about how whether or not she's actually black. It's a stupid conversation.
Well, and I think it ends up being sort of instead of the old Marxism of the proletariat against the bourgeoisie, what you now have is this intersectional group of the marginalized who must, create consciousness amongst themselves, whether it's women, or then you get the intersection with black women, or maybe it's folks who are LGBTQ. Supposedly all these groups have to work together to fight the normative groups that run things. Yeah. But it's essentially sort of a Marxist model that if you're either with the group or you're part of the out group. But that's kind of how it is, and it doesn't make literal sense.
Yeah, but because it infinitely regresses and it can infinitely fragment.
Right.
Because if you actually sit down and do the math, then every single person, every human person, is in a category in and of themselves based on their level of privilege, accomplishment, acceptability, whatever. Every single human being is different on that spectrum, but they want to keep people in the group, and then sometimes those groups fragment off. It used to be the feminists were part of the progressives. Now the feminists who are really anti-trans, they're now on the out group of what used to be a liberal group. So it infinitely fragments as we get more and more crazy.
Right. You're either left and you're part of the party, or you're a red, or you're just something else. And that could be a right winger, could be Joe Rogan, or it could be Newt Gingrich, or it could be
Nick Fuentes.
Right.
Yeah.
It could be all these different types of people that don't fit together. It's just, you're part of that out group. And you think, it's not about the old Marxist, thing where we need government power, people power to take on certain special groups. But here's Kamala Harris not that long ago talking about capitalism needs to change to take into account race and gender.
So capitalism in its best form is about the beauty of competition to create the greatest product, to create the greatest outcome. But inherent in that is an assumption that everyone starts out on the same base, and then they compete, and whoever wins, wins.
Number one, none of that is true.
Zero of the things.
That's just not true.
The market, right? The market share. But that's a false assumption when you take into account the fact that not everyone starts from the same place, particularly when we take into account race and gender. So what we have to do is recognize the disparities that have long existed and take that into consideration when we want to encourage competition.
That's such commie gobbledygook.
It is commie gobbledygook.
That is nonsense on stilts.
Think about that. She's like, the problem with capitalism is it doesn't take into account that not everybody starts in the same place, especially when it comes to race and gender. Okay, let's take that. Let's take the children, and since I mentioned Colin Powell earlier, we'll take Colin Powell or even Barack Obama. And let's say, so their children would be black. And I believe they both have daughters. So that's the bottom end of the equity range for these R words. So the black female descendant of Colin Powell or Barack Obama, in their model, should be on a lower starting point than J.D. Vance, who is a white male, but he just so happened to be born to white trash, essentially. And so it doesn't add up. This whole equity model of economics, it doesn't make sense. It is Marxist, but it's shifted in this bizarre way.
And she attributes to it that the capitalist assumes that people start at equal place. No, that's literally the opposite. The whole reason the thing called the division of labor works and comparative advantage works is that people do have different abilities on all sorts of different things. And even if, say, some person was magically the best at everything, whether it's fishing or hunting deer or building a home or shelter, whatever, think it in simple terms, even if you're the best at everything you could possibly do, you probably want to specialize in one thing and really succeed in that one thing and let other people who may not even be as good at you at that particular thing do their thing. You split it up, and it allows folks who aren't equal to actually produce more than they ever could by themselves. It allows, I think the core of capitalism should be private property.
Yeah.
And the price system is how I would view it. But instead, the socialist or the communist always wants to reallocate it. They want to treat it like this stuff just, the money and the wealth comes on from high, like manna on high, and then the authority must divvy it up. And these authorities are just being greedy and how much they're divvying up to everybody else. It's like, no, maybe they produced a product or a service that other people in the world went, well, I'll buy that product and service for this price.
Yeah.
And it allows everyone to rise up. When you look globally, billions, even with I would call crony capitalism, this imperfect system we have, especially with the central bank, billions have been lifted out of poverty in the last decade or two. Billions. It's an incredible success story. And the idea that we're still stuck on this, and now it's not all the proletariat must take on, kill the kulaks there in Mother Russia, or Mao killing everybody, essentially. It's now we have to separate folks by, in particular, race and gender, but also sexuality and all the other intersectional categories. I just think the average person, number one, goes, what was that? Huh? What is all this nonsense? But that's what's under the hood. It's essentially folks saying, in order to make things equal, give me unequal powers.
Correct.
They want to be the more equal pigs that run the farm.
Yeah, and that's what capitalism is to me fundamentally is this. Is God makes men what they are. You are born into an existence that is trying and will succeed in killing you eventually. And it is your job to use your wits and will to craft the best possible existence that you can out of it, and that you should be untethered by restraints from pursuing that. They don't have a concept of that because they look around and they see people who have legitimately made poor life decisions, like me, and they would look at me, say 10 years ago, 8 years ago, whatever, and be like, oh, this poor person making so little money, he needs the government to help him. And it's like, no, just leave me alone. Stop taking my stuff, and I will either succeed or fail on the basis of my own wits, and that is my responsibility.
Right.
Because I'm an adult.
Well, and then there's a fascinating question. It's actually somebody who's trans. It used to be Donald McCloskey, now Deirdre McCloskey. But McCloskey's books, called the Bourgeois Era series, I mean, it's probably 2,000 pages worth of reading. The idea is, the question is, how do we get so rich? You look at most of human history, and it's about the same. They're a little, Rome gets a little richer, China gets a little richer at some points in history, but you could plop somebody from, say, Rome in the, just after Christ is born, plop them in, say, 1776 in America, there'd be a culture shock, but they would kind of understand everything technologically. People are still riding horseback. We're still how we do letters and communicate. Like, it would pretty much be the same thing as what Rome was 2,000 years later. What happened is around the year 1800, it goes this hockey stick on a graph. Like, the amount of wealth creation is just astounding. You're talking like 30x. 30x increases, and the standards of living keep going up. So child labor stops. There's a lot of advantages that come from this. And so folks have wondered, how did this happen? How did this explosion of wealth happen around the year 1800 in Northern Europe, say with the Dutch, with the British Isles, and with the United States of America? How did these agrarian societies all of a sudden explode? And some folks go, well, slavery. Well, McCloskey says, well, but the Chinese and the Romans had slaves, and they didn't have this. It was colonial exploitation. It's like, no, there have been plenty of imperial powers that didn't grow by exploiting others. Well, it was just putting brick on top of brick. It was, you found like more capital and also more innovation. So it's the steam engine that explains everything or something like that. It's like, no, because where did that stuff come from? And I love her answer. And again, she splaces out in thousands of words. But I love her answer is that the old ancient regime, the old, say, aristocracy and nobility that had kings and stuff, they finally started to lose a lot of their power. And they themselves started to say, what if we give the average person, say in a British town or an American town, why not let the average person do what they want? Make the bread that they want for their family and sell it to whomever they want. Let the average man have a go. And if you let the average man have a go, not only will the average man be better off, everyone, including us, the rich and the powerful, the elite, will be better off. And that was a marked change from almost any other time in human history. China had their ruling elite authorities, and they restricted all sorts of things. So did the Romans in many regards. So did much of Christian medieval Europe. There was constant regulation by the elite. This is how you must be. And it was finally folks saying, no, actually, if you let the average person have a go, number one, they're capable. Number two, it will make everybody better off. And it will create innovation beyond anybody's wildest dreams. And the mentality that, in particular, Kamala Harris is throwing out there, but so many on the left are out there, is that, Eddie, you cannot do because of this, that thing makes you unequal to so-and-so. And I think it is just it's going back to an old idea that has bedeviled man for millennia. And I'm tired of it continually creeping back up into the conversation, but that's where we are, where we have this corrupt elite who's like, we can tell you everything. We know how to right every wrong, how to wipe away every tear, how to wipe every butt. Just give us more power to make everything equal. Of course, we'll be more powerful, so we won't be equal, but us with the power will make everything equal. And we'll change the rules in mid-sentence because you can't even read. You're not even paying attention. Yeah. So, all animals are equal to others, but some are more equal than others.
Well, they'll look at like a caste system in the millennia gone by, and they're just shocked. It's like, hey, your dad was a cooper? Guess what? Yeah. You're a cooper. Your dad was a tanner? You're a tanner. Your dad was a coppersmith? You're a coppersmith. Your dad was a carpenter? You're a carpenter. And those were on different social hierarchical scales. They look at that and they're like, that's horrible. That's awful. We're going to have this system, which is just a caste system, but we're going to try to make everyone the same.
Right.
It's the same evil applied differently.
Yes.
I don't know about you, but when I didn't want to do my homework, you know what my dad told me? World needs plenty of ditch diggers. But they look at the ditch digger, and then they'll look at a Patrick Bet-David say, and they're like, you know what? The problem here is the inequitable distribution of resources. Yeah. It isn't because one person just is smarter, just is more intelligent.
Or maybe worked harder.
And exactly.
Because there are plenty of intelligent people who screw up their lives.
I'm right. I think of myself as relatively intelligent. I am so bad with money. I will never be wealthy. Like there's some people. There's some people that have that chip that just lets them, whatever they touch turns to gold. They have the Midas touch. Yeah. I was not born with that chip, and you know what? I'm okay with it. I have other value.
You've accepted it, right?
I have accepted. I
know that feeling.
I'm still trying.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I accept that I have other value. I don't go whine to my oligarchs and be like, I need more stuff. Look at Donald Trump. He puts gold on his Rolls Royce. I need some of that gold. That's how babies think. And that's what they do. The left treats people like they're babies.
Absolutely. Well, and where all this started was this J.D. Vance comment. Again, folks are like, oh, Trump really stepped in it. It's the same thing as the John McCain, war heroes that weren't captured.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, he insulted Rosie O'Donnell. He said Megyn Kelly had blood coming out of her wherever. Like, he's done. He's done. He can't handle it anymore. It's like, nope. Actually, half the time, not only was Trump not done, he stepped in on purpose, took back the news cycle, and now you thinking you've got them, run and ask J.D. Vance at the border wall. I mean, the image of this is just fantastic. Let's watch and listen in together.
The former president's comments yesterday to the National Association of Black Journalists, where he said that Vice President Harris is, quote, all of a sudden black. As a father of 3 biracial children, did those comments give you pause at all?
They don't give me pause at all. Look, all he said is that Kamala Harris is a chameleon. She goes to Georgia 2 days ago. She was raised in Canada. She puts on a fake Southern accent. She is everything to everybody, and she pretends to be somebody different depending on which audience she's in front of. I think it's totally reasonable for the president to call that out, and that's all he did. I mean, look, she's running as a tough-on-crime prosecutor, even though she implemented open border policies. She's saying that she wants to support the police, yet she wanted to defund the police just 3 years ago. It's totally reasonable to call out the fact that she pretends to be somebody different depending on the audience she's talking to.
See, and that's what I think is going to be the main message going forward, and it's going to hit Kamala and the Democratic Party every which way. Now, I maintain what I was saying yesterday. I think this thing, as we get into November, unless something crazy happens, which it could, given what's happened this year.
Look what's happened just a couple of days.
It's probably a coin flip. I seriously think, even if Biden had stayed in, it probably would have gotten closer to a coin flip.
Yeah.
I just think that's just where America's at.
Yeah, because they memory hold that assassination attempt
Right.
real
Right.
quick.
Yep.
And
Real
then
quick.
one other thought, when you think about like this new push for equity, it's so different than the classic, and not even classically liberal, like what liberals wanted in the 80s and 90s. Like it's so, in the sense that I could hear a liberal saying, we need to work together on climate change because Alabama can't just solve the climate change problem.
Yeah.
It becomes the public goods argument that in order to do these grand public things, and that's one thing, and you can quibble with that, but I don't think it comes from a place of redistribution and give us the power to make things more equal.
Yeah.
That comes from a place of, well, we want to accomplish certain goals. So that's one argument to be had, but this is where the Democratic Party and so much of, I think, the elite in this country are going, where they don't actually want to have wealth-making mechanisms of capitalism. They want, essentially, to use their corporate control of the institutions to make things more equal.
Yeah.
And the kicker is it's not going to work by their own merits. It's not going to make things more equal.
It never does.
But
Never does.
isn't that a beautiful thing that now we just get to manage this problem? Oh, we're not equal yet. We'll get there right around the corner. We're right around and it's just these greedy capitalists, or it's Elon Musk with his space lasers that's holding us back from succeeding in Venezuela or Georgia. I think this is an interesting time to be alive. And yes, this has been a heck of a week, and it should have given a wake-up call to every Republican out there thinking, oh, Trump's got this made after that assassination attempt. But again, it's still early, and I still don't know if the table is fully set at this moment.
No, it's not. There's going to be several other big dramatic things that happen before November. Not as dramatic as July 13th, but.
So we got to hit a break here.
All right.
But first, as part of the program, brought to you by River Region Contracting. And there at River Region Contracting, Todd Clark and his team are ready to help you with that roof of yours. Could be an asphalt or metal roof.
Yeah.
You need to get it checked out on a regular basis just to give you peace of mind. Make sure there are no problems that are really developing into something huge that's going to be costly. In fact, that's when an insurance company won't touch it.
Yep.
They'll say, oh, you let this fester for 5-10 years, you're negligent, we're not going to give you the claim. So why not call up River Region Contracting today at 356-8635, and you're not on the hook. The beautiful thing is their inspections are always free.
That's right, Joey.
And if they do find a problem, your estimates are always free and accurate. They show up on time. They do the job well. They love to inform their customers, here's what's wrong.
Yep.
Like you have some rubber seals on the metal roof that are all dry rotted out, and like that's how you're going to start to get leaks and warping and whatnot.
That's what happens.
They love to inform their customers as they work for them, and they're a team of insurance specialists, so they can walk you through an insurance claim process, make it a swift and easy experience. So check out River Region Contracting today. There's a reason folks are calling them the premier roofing contractor here in the River Region. 356-8635. That's 356-8635. And be sure to tell them that, well, you heard about them here on the radio from Joey and Eddie, those fellas.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Hi, I'm Ray Bowles from Prattville Carpet. If you're looking for waterproof carpet, hardwood, laminate, vinyl plank, or ceramic tile, call us today for your free measure.
Prattville Carpet is a family-owned flooring store that prides itself on personal service, quality products, and guaranteed installation. From beautiful hardwood floors to luxurious smart strand carpet, Prattville Carpet has you covered. Call, come by, or online at prattvillecarpet.com.
Prattville Carpet, we're more than just carpet.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-488-2594. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call
800-488-2594. That's 800-488-2594.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
Rich Thomas weather brought to you by Wiley Sanders Truck Lines. Truckers, if you are looking for green grass, contact Wiley Sanders Truck Lines. In business since 1959 and still growing. Call today, 855-777-9785.
Stay hydrated this weekend, and of course, slow down and take it easy and stay out of the sun as much as possible. With today's actual high around 98, triple-digit heat indices in the 105 to 110 danger range. Tonight, very oppressive with the overnight low temperature in the upper 70s. Any showers and storms that develop today will be very isolated in nature, perhaps a little bit more widely scattered as we get into Saturday and Sunday, mostly in the afternoon and evening hours. I've got the high in the mid to upper 90s on Saturday, and looks like mid-90s on Sunday at least. Triple-digit heat indices. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Thank you for voting ASC Credit Union the best credit union in the River Region 6 years in a row. As we celebrate our 70th anniversary, we are proud to be at the top of the list for the best credit union in the hearts of the communities we serve.
News and talk without the static. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the Afternoon. I'm Joey, that's Eddie in the blue. And Craig Monger wearing it. What is that, an anarchist shirt?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The A stands for anarchy?
Yeah.
All right then.
This is how non-political my wife is. She's like, is that the thing of that movie about the guy who tries to blow up Parliament? I'm like, no, you're thinking of the V for Vendetta. That's a different symbol. But
good.
also not really at the same time.
You know, based on how we nerded out the other day, and we're not going to do that again just now with Lord of the Rings, I have to say the Lord of the Rings memes that have been making the rounds since like this whole presidential race really got going, just absolutely delicious. Yes, as you just chef's kiss. It's just fantastic to watch. What are guys who support Biden? Well, they used to be men. But this is one I'm looking at. Lord Denethor from the movie.
Mm-hmm.
He's the guy, Eddie, if you remember, ate the tiny little tomato things. You remember that part? He's like the angry guy in the big palace. It says, "Guard, my lord, Gandalf the White is here to see you." I did not know he was white until a number of weeks ago, when he happened to turn white, and now he wants to be known as the White. Is he the gray or the white? God, I love nerd stuff.
Me too. Do you want to know why he turned into Gandalf the White, Eddie?
I'm going to guess it has nothing to do with like how a dog turd turns from black to white.
No, after he
dries out over time.
He died fighting a Balrog in Moria, and then and then he went away, and then Eru Ilúvatar actually sent him back into Arda to further accomplish the goal of destroying.
And I come to you at the turn of the tide.
Yeah, he passed out of time and space.
That sounds wonderful. That's cool.
Let's go to line 3. You're on there. Who's this?
Oh, just listening to you gentlemen as usual. This is Crawdad.
Hey, Crawdad.
Crawdaddy.
Now, my brother and I, we were talking a minute ago. What was the lady's name in the DNC that Donald Trump used to pick at their color horse face?
That could apply to so many.
Yeah, I'm a little stumped here.
Okay, she. Sorry, the memory here, the memory is just not what it used to be.
He called Stormy Daniels horse face, but I don't know anyone at the DNC.
No, that was funny. I understand where you're going with that one, yeah. Really, when now clarify, because if tell you that I am a mutt, I am not saying something that is disparaging of my lineage. I'm just saying we're all kind of this, that, and the other.
Right.
Okay, now some people might say, well, where does your ancestry comes from? You say, well, I'm Scots-Irish. All right, and you know, Joey there, he's Polska. You're Polska. That's great and all that. Now, all of a sudden, we have this lady who wants to tell us, well, 1 minute I am Indian. Next minute I am African American. Next minute I'm this, that, and the other. Can I call her a mutt and not get in trouble?
Yeah, I wouldn't use the term.
I wouldn't advise that. And that's me saying it, by the way.
Okay. Now, she would never just come out and say, well, I have a mixed background, because, you know, our wonderful golfer, our golfer, helping with the memory, golfing. Who is a wonderful golfer? Give me a name. A wonderful golfer.
The Kablasian, you mean, Tiger Woods?
Yes, thank you. Somebody once tried to do that, trying to get him, I guess, while he's on the green, he says, you know, what are you? And he says, I'm Tiger Woods.
Right.
You know, they were trying to get him to paint himself into a check this box. I hate that. I hate that.
That's whenever he actually coined the term. He said, I'm Kablasian. He was Caucasian, black, and Asian.
We are Americans. We are Americans. And trying to fix yourself into a box so that you will get people to vote for you, paint me this color so that you will like me. Okay, well, we got a little problem there, because how many people in America are going to say, well, I am American? Well, what kind of American? An American. How many different levels do you have to fit in the DNC good little boxes? That's where I'm sick and tired of it.
Yeah. No, I'm with you, and I think there are a lot of folks, but there are also folks that I think come by it honestly. I just think the racial categorization often is crude, doesn't really tell you any much about a person, and is arbitrary often. So,
you tell me when Sequoia, who, you know, how much Native American you want to be, but then you're going to have to say, well, are you from this side of the creek, or are you from that side of the creek? Native American folks, dear to my heart, okay? And how much can you say, well, my people got here in 1680? Well, happy do. My people got here 9,000 years ago. What's the difference to you, buddy? No, now they got to have you check the little box to make sure that the DNC will have a piece of paper to come to your mailbox, because you need to vote for Kamala, because she's a black American Indian.
Right. Well, we'll see where it goes, Crud. I appreciate the call, man.
Thanks, buddy.
Thank you.
272-9228. And then, of course, in the same breath, I would fully say history's real, culture's real.
Yeah.
I think the story of African Americans in particular, from enslavement to emancipation to truly lifting themselves up, it's a remarkable story, and it's a unique one in the world and in the United States. And so I would never want to rob anybody of that unique story, because I think it's just true.
Yeah. It's history.
Right.
It happened.
Right.
But it is this skin depth of the analysis of culture and race is so facile.
Right.
And you saw that most clearly with Barack Obama, and I'd like to point this out. He's our first black president. Well, what does that mean? He was equally as white as he was black. So So what does that mean? Does he have a uniquely black identity? Did he grow up in a uniquely black culture? Does he have that with a white mother and a black father? What does that mean? No, they just simply look at the left. I mean, they look at a skin color and they assume an identity. They assume a story. They assume a heritage. They assume a culture.
And you see this in a really messy way, again, because I think the anchor in history of, say, the black experience in America, you could say that, and there's a lot of folks who go, yeah, I kind of know what you're talking about. Yeah. But when you see them try to create stuff really ham-handedly for political gain in real time, say with Asian Americans, they used to be like under the umbrella of people of color, and then you start to see folks go, especially say with Harvard admissions and other things. Well, no, now they're white adjacent. You see this with Jewish folks. Like, are they a oppressed minority, especially historically, or they like no white adjacent and all this? And so you start to see this is just a cynical political game.
Yeah, and you
slice and dice people.
And what they don't see is that they're doing exactly what they what the left criticized during the apartheid regime, because they had the exact same rules explicitly. Because it wasn't just white and black in South Africa under apartheid. They had sections for Asians, they had sections for Indians, and there's like, well, Asians are white and Indians are black, and they do the same thing in their oppression Olympics. But meanwhile, they look back at the regime in South Africa before Mandela came in there and messed everything up, and they would say that's crazy, that's insane.
He's just dropping.
I'm sorry,
unnecessary.
It objectively got worse. After Mandela.
I don't know enough to argue with you about it.
Speaking of not knowing it, I know nothing about what's going on in Venezuela. By the way, I really wish I did. I know zero.
All I know is that the dictator and Maduro and Musk are having a Twitter flame war and threatening each other to an actual fist.
Where's Dana White at? Where's Dana White? Or Jake Paul? Somebody step in and make this happen.
He accepted the offer to fight him.
Yeah, I know.
So I'm just waiting for the pay-per-view.
I think Meta Lizard Boy would beat up Musk pretty handily. But I take Musk over.
You don't like his walrus strategy?
No.
He's like, I'm bigger than, and I'll just lay on him.
No, I'll tell you, Zuckerberg actually has chops.
Oh, I
he
agree.
has actual chops. Yeah, I know.
Let's go to line one. You're on the air. Who's this?
Is this Freaky Friday? We can talk about anything.
Yes, sir.
Anything you want.
Anything you like, Jim.
This is Jim. I just keep it a little light. You know the guy, the Hamas guy, Ishmael Haniyeh, whatever his name is, that had the bomb plan in there. Yeah, they did discover one thing though. He had a bad case of dandruff because they found his head and shoulders all over his apartment.
Ooh.
I saw that.
Wait, Jim, how old are you?
No, that's what makes it so good.
That's.
I saw that on Truth Social.
No. No, it's just.
But can you the Israeli, the Mossad, is that what they are? Those, can you imagine they were able to get that bomb planted in that room, a month or so ago before he was.
Somebody got a hold of his scheduling.
Yeah, and all that they did all that, and nobody even. Well, I tell you what, if I was some of those Hamas guys over there, I think I'd be asking for a transfer somewhere.
Oh yeah, and you just never know. Like, who is Mossad?
Yeah.
Like, and there's part of me, if I send in my DNA to 21 and me or 23 and me or whatever it is, Ancestry.com, it'll come back and go, well, you're Polish, Scotch Irish, and you're part Mossad. Not that your mother was Jewish, you're just actually part of Mossad.
Well, I will take them over. I will exchange the Mossad. I'll take them, and they can have our CIA and Secret Service and FBI. They can have all three of them and just give me Mossad, and we won't have any more problems.
Well,
but that was just amazing that they could do that. I mean, good grief! Can you imagine the United States trying to do that? No.
Well, actually, I kind of can. But our CIA ain't Boy Scouts by any means.
Well, they're fixing to have a press conference here with the Secret Service. It's going to be interesting. See what kind of lies they're going to tell us. I'll tell you what. You saw it yesterday, Joey. The film from the man's camera that was one of the people shot of the assassin running across the room.
Yep.
Right there while Trump's speaking.
Hard to deny that one.
It's nuts.
A 20-year-old weirdo outfoxed our Secret Service. That's all you got to know. There's something something stinks.
Yep.
Appreciate the call, Jim.
Probably.
See you, man.
Programming note coming up at 2:30. Senator Katie Britt should be calling in, joining us here on the program. We're going to be talking, of course, the new child care package she's pushing, and it's actually bipartisan. And when you look at the underlying problem, something does need to be done. I think child care, talk about inflation, is up 200% over the last few years, which is just, there's a lot of reasons, but absolutely insane numbers. But of course, going to ask the senator about Kamala, ask her about also what Jim has brought to Israel. And, well, she was front and center there at the Netanyahu speech, as we discussed last week. So I just want to get her perspective on, maybe we'll have time to be like, what a crazy 2 weeks. Like, just go. Like, tell us about the Olympics, the Trump assassination, the convention, Joe Biden dropping out. It's just been a whirlwind of news and events. We've got to hit about a minute break here. Be right back.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Don't you love the feeling of coming home to a clean house? Let Southern Bells Cleaning Service get your home in order. Families in the River region trust Southern Bells because they know Callan and Jesse will show up on time and believe in cleaning the old-fashioned way. They bring all their own supplies and specialize in full-service, residential, commercial, vacant properties, and construction cleanup. Estimates are always free. Call Southern Bells today at 546-0715 or follow them on Facebook at Southern Bells Cleaning River Region.
Did you know your life insurance is an asset you can sell? I'm Jay Jackson, CEO of Abacus Life. For almost 20 years, Abacus has been purchasing life insurance policies from seniors just like you. And at abacuspays.com, we've created a free policy value calculator so you can find out the worth of your policy in just seconds. There are no fees and no obligations. Get real value from your life insurance when you need it with Abacus. Learn more at abacuspays.com.
Sharon at Whitworth Farm Equipment now has a qualified and certified mechanic. Gary Baker can do it all. They're here to keep you in the field. Your tractor should work as hard as you do and keep working. For all parts and service, come see Whitworth Farm Equipment for all tractor parts, implements, and trailers. And now selling pine straw rolls. Go to Whitworth Farm Equipment, 285-9977, or at 7458 Deatsville Highway.
The River Region's first and only News Talk station on FM. Live, local talk. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Let's go to the phones and talk to Sweet D. Hey, D, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you guys?
All right.
Good.
Okay. Are there any predictions on the VP for Kamala?
It's looking like that Josh Shapiro, the governor of Pennsylvania.
I don't think so.
Who do you think it'll be?
Buddha boot.
Buddha dish. Buddha boot.
Buddha boot.
Yeah, it's gonna be Buddha boot, so y'all can quit talking about her.
I'm still thinking of now. I'm now thinking of the South Park meme, and it's just, I can't help myself.
Gonna have competitions with who slept with more men.
Oh God, God.
God.
Well, you know the conspiracy out there is that he's not actually gay.
No, he is queerer than a
he's
$3
gay.
bill. Yeah,
He's very gay. I don't know who came up with that, but that's a lie.
he makes
Yeah, that's-
Liberace look like Clint Eastwood.
That's the internet for you.
You know, they
But
can go
anyway,
both
I'm
ways,
glad
just so you
that
know.
what's his name? God, I just lost his name. Your partner.
Craig.
No, the other one.
Oh, boo.
Eddie?
Eddie?
Eddie Bader.
Yes, ma'am.
Eddie Bader. The next time Joey lets a middle-aged black man in that office with two-tone hair, black on the top and gray on the side,
Yes, ma'am.
lock the door. Okay.
We'll do it.
Don't be hating on somebody's hair.
Joey, come on now. How can you get any answers that make any sense from anybody that has their hair like that and they're in their 50s or 60s?
It doesn't have to make sense. It doesn't have to make sense. We welcome all types of folks here.
Well, that's why you got all the stupid answers that you got. Okay? That is why you got all those stupid answers.
Fair.
And I'm so glad that Eddie left the building because I was going to have to come down there and get him out of jail, and gladly.
Well, thank you for having my back.
I got your back because that hair made me want to come down there and just lay outside in the car and be like, dude, we going to go with black or we going to go with gray? Pick a side. It was ridiculous. I about died. I called everybody I knew. I'm like, please go to YouTube and look at this man.
What you got against Just for Men?
He got just for a fool. Okay, that's what he had on his hair.
Caller of the day. I'm
But
calling it
anyway,
right
guys,
now. Sweet D, caller of the day.
Appreciate it, D.
Okay, and don't forget about Boo Boo. That's going to be our next.
All right, you're
VP.
making the call.
Write
All
that down,
right.
Eddie.
Y'all have a great day. Love y'all.
You
Love
too,
you
hon.
too.
Thanks.
Got it at the top of the hour break. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. Firefighters battling California's largest wildfire of the year, preparing for treacherous conditions entering the weekend. The forecast calling for possible thunderstorms that may unleash fire-starting lightning and erratic winds that could erode progress made over the past week. 6,000 firefighters are battling the Park Fire. A wildfire on the edge of Metro Denver has crept within a quarter mile of evacuated homes. That fire among several threatening heavily populated areas of the Colorado foothills, including one in which a person was killed earlier this week. A disappointing jobs report, a weak 114,000 jobs added in July, the unemployment rate at 4.3%. The Dow dropping 847 points, the NASDAQ off 477. This is SRN News.
Government debt is now exploding by an unprecedented $1 trillion every 90 days. Think of that. It's a clear sign that our nation's finances are spinning out of control, and it's putting the savings of every one of you at risk. Hello, I'm Lance Wallnow, a news analyst and best-selling author and an evangelical leader. I'm deeply concerned about the impact this runaway debt is going to have on Christians like you who have worked hard to build your own nest egg for your family. To protect your financial future in these uncertain times, you need to diversify with something tangible and proven, like physical gold. That's why I recommend a gold IRA. To learn more, text FAITH to the number 989898, and my friends at Birch Gold Group will rush you a free info kit on how to move your IRA or 401k to physical precious metals, tax and penalty-free. So don't wait. Just text the word FAITH to 989898 to get your free info kit on gold IRAs. Birch Gold Group is the only company I trust. There's no obligation. So text FAITH to 989898, and I pray this information helps you achieve prosperity and peace of mind.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network is brought to you by Earnest Financial.
If you're tired of losing your money in the stock market, call David Earnest, 334-279-7431. Earnest Financial, LLC.
Stay hydrated this weekend, and of course, slow down and take it easy and stay out of the sun as much as possible. With today's actual high around 98, triple-digit heat indices in the 105 to 110 danger range. Tonight, very oppressive with the overnight low temperature in the upper 70s. Any showers and storms that develop today will be very isolated in nature, perhaps a little bit more widely scattered as we get into Saturday and Sunday, mostly in the afternoon and evening hours. I've got the high in the mid to upper 90s on Saturday, and looks like mid-90s on Sunday at least. Triple-digit heat indices. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Wet Bobo with Capital Tractor. Soon we'll be moving to a brand new location in Montgomery. During our big moving sale, get a great deal on a Kubota with 0% APR up to 84 months with approved credit. Now through September 30th, 2024. See Capital Tractor in Montgomery or go to KubotaUSA.com for more details.
From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, here's today's top stories.
A former FBI agent was sentenced to life in prison Thursday for sexually assaulting an 11-year-old girl while serving as an Alabama state trooper. 45-year-old Christopher Bauer was arrested in 2021 and convicted of first-degree sodomy and sexual abuse of a child under 12 in June. He now faces similar child sex abuse charges in Louisiana. Attorneys representing the state of Alabama have agreed to pay $3 million to attorneys representing plaintiffs in an ongoing congressional redistricting lawsuit. Both sides agreed to the total Wednesday as the years-long lawsuit over Alabama's congressional map continues. A trial in the lawsuit is scheduled for early February. Ivy Classical Academy in Prattville will be opening 2 weeks later than initially planned. Due to a delay in the delivery of air conditioning units, the new school moved their planned start date to August 21st. Ivy Classical Academy is located in the High Point Town Center with about 600 students in grades K through 5 this year. From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, I'm Sky Mosley.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
Yes?
Howdy, ma'am. I'm Bill, the electrician.
Oh, hello, Bill. Say, I like your houndstooth hat. Bama fan?
Well, sorta.
Oh, you're also wearing a War Eagle sweatshirt and a Troy jacket.
Yeah, well, I grabbed a hot wire last week. Kinda scrambled my brain.
Electricity is nothing to trifle with. That's why you only want electricians who are safety conscious and code compliant, like the experts at Crosby Electric.
Okay, ma'am, you take this 2x4, and if you notice I ain't saying much, give me a good knock on the head.
What?
All Crosby Electric team members are trained to make safety our #1 priority to avoid dangerous situations.
All ready to go, ma'am. Just have to connect this wire and... Oh.
Bill, are you okay?
Oh, yeah. Good as new.
Yeah, sure. Who's your favorite team?
Pistachio?
Don't take chances with electricity. Call the experts at Crosby Electric or visit us at crosbyelectric.com.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Second hour of the program here on a Friday. It is a free-for-all, so you can call in about whatever you want. 272-9228. That's 334.
Yep.
272-9228. And, oh, Eddie's answering the phone. He doesn't have to do that. Well, somebody called in and was trying to figure out who was that candidate Trump called horseface, because he did call Stormy Daniels horseface, but she wasn't the candidate. And we somebody on the feed, I believe, said DJRH. Says her name is Carly Fiorina.
Oh, I remember that now.
Yeah, where Trump accused her, like, look at that face. Can you imagine that being president, that horse face? And then later, do you remember where they did like the Fox debaters or the debate moderators at Fox in 2015, 2016 said, what would be your like call sign
I do
for the
that.
Secret Service?
Yes.
And Trump said humble and like killed it. And Carly Fiorina said secretariat.
Oof. Oof.
Yeah, it's like what?
Oof.
What? What in the world? So we finally have the first unscripted Kamala moment.
Oh, really?
Or Kamala, or however you want to say it.
Kamala.
This is after they greeted the Russian prisoners, the Americans who had been held prisoner, Gerskovich and Whelan. And they're on the tarmac here, and this is Kamala Harris yesterday evening.
This is just an extraordinary testament to the importance of having a president who understands the power of diplomacy.
Mm-hmm.
and understands the strength that rests in understanding the significance of diplomacy and strengthening alliances. This is an incredible day.
And of course, Eric Weinstein says it's amazing to see what can be said unburdened by what can be thought. Yeah, we've only just begun the games. I think James Carville's right. The ice pick coming.
Yeah, I think you're going to just see some stumbling going on.
Yeah.
So let her go. I mean, come on. Identity politics, they played that. Somebody called them out on their bluff with that, which is great. Let's see the substance behind it. Let's get to the debate.
The debate.
What else can we do?
But because as much as, for instance, people are criticizing Megan Thee Stallion, I think both you and I appreciated
I'll be honest,
her
I'm very
performance.
simple-minded about that. Yeah.
No,
It
like
appeals
we
to
are
me-
simple creatures, us
Yeah.
men. And there's no denying that. Doesn't make me want to vote for somebody, but I
Right,
like
not
watching.
at all.
I enjoyed watching.
It did not do anything to change my mind voting-wise. But
Right.
I do enjoy a good show.
Now, do you remember Kyle Rittenhouse?
Yeah. How's he doing? He's wealthy.
He is in deep doo-doo today.
What?
Because, well, here, I'll just play the clip. MAGA, Trump country, is very, very upset with Kyle Rittenhouse.
I don't understand why.
And the libertarians are praising him. So that gives a little wrinkle. The libertarians are praising him. So let's listen in. I believe this is Kyle Rittenhouse.
Hi, I'm Kyle Rittenhouse, Outreach Director for Texas Gun Rights. A lot of people are upset that I said I'm going to be writing in Ron Paul for President of the United States. And that is true. I will be writing in Ron Paul. Unfortunately, Donald Trump had bad advisors making him bad on the Second Amendment, and that is my issue. If you cannot be completely uncompromisable on the Second Amendment, I will not vote for you, and I will write somebody else in. We need champions for the Second Amendment, or our rights will be eaten away and eroded each day.
Okay.
Oh, there's some folks who are like, oh, you should have been put in prison now. This shows
For
how,
speaking
like,
his mind.
Well, yeah, no, this shows how unprincipled and just upset and ridiculous people can be from whatever side.
Whatever reason, though, he's still a young kid. He's going to make decisions, change them a million times. And he's one, at the end of the day, he's one vote. So what? If anything, glad he's not afraid to speak his mind.
Yeah, in particular, Cat Turd was very upset.
Well, he's got enough money to go.
And also after seeing him with Tucker, I'm like, oh, I know that. I've met that guy.
Yeah.
Many a time. He's a good guy.
I know that guy. He lives in South Alabama.
Right.
I know him very well. Used to work with him. Yeah.
Right. My dad has a lot of friends like
Exactly.
that. Yeah. And they're good people.
Yeah, good
They
folks.
love going fishing and
Good folks.
hanging out
Just-
and making
But
life
I think
happen.
that's what appeals to America. That's why people like him. He's somebody they can talk to. Somebody easy to talk to.
So Kyle Rittenhouse writing in Ron Paul because Trump isn't good enough on the Second Amendment.
Not that bad.
And he sounds still like such a freaking kid.
Right.
What is he,
Is he
20?
20, 21?
If that?
Yeah. So.
Let's go to the phones. Line 1, you're on there. Who's this?
Hey, Donkey Lori.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, guys. I just wanted, this is my little itty bitty 2 cents, is that I like your guy that's on with you guys on Fridays, Craig. But here's my kind of, here's my 2 cents on it. Because people like Kyle Rittenhouse, who I was a huge supporter of his when all of that was going down. I still am. But, and like Craig has made it known on the airwaves that he's not going to vote for Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
My problem with that is, yes, it's your vote, your choice. However, because of people who absolutely will not vote for Trump, I think that hurts because there's only 2 people on the ticket. You can write in whoever you want to. They're not going to be the one.
But it doesn't
And
hurt.
either,
It
and
doesn't.
we're trying to. Well, I think it does because we already know that the elections have come fraudulent, and to speak out about that, people have been canceled and
Sure.
vilified and all of that.
Donkey Lori, who do you
Hard
think?
enough.
Donkey Lori, who do you think's going to win Alabama, Kamala or Trump?
Absolutely, Trump.
Who do you think's going to win Texas, Kamala or Trump?
Trump.
Yeah, so Rittenhouse is voting in Texas. Craig here, if he's voting in Alabama. I don't think him writing in Stone Cold Steve Austin or Rittenhouse writing in Ron Paul is going to make much of a difference.
But how many Kyles and Craigs are there out there?
Not many.
Not many. Funnily enough, my brother's name is Kyle, so when you said that, I kind of freaked out because I'm always used to hearing it like that, Kyle and Craig. I'm like, don't bring my brother into this.
Where people are going to have like an issue with, to me, the scales of, am I for the Harris-Biden policies or am I for the Trump stance policies? If there's a few policies I'm not in line with any of the Biden-Harris policies. So I'm going with what's going to work best for me as an American.
Well, Miss Donkey, Miss Donkey, if I may call you Miss Donkey.
My name is not Miss Donkey. No, please don't.
I know.
Donkey Lori.
How can a person, honestly, this is a sincere question, how can someone be expected to cast a vote for someone who holds positions and policies that they find to be morally repugnant?
I tell you, I'm going to just put this out there, okay? And it's a little bit of my personal business I probably shouldn't put out there, but this is my 2 cents on it. If y'all have heard on the news lately, the animal shelters are in a code red right now because of the canine influenza, okay? I'm a foster mommy, so I foster for the shelter. But I had a health issue in my home from fosters that also makes me somewhat of a code red in my home. Now, when tiny, tiny little puppies come in the shelter, pick your poison. You're going to be exposed to this, or are you going to come to my house, potentially be exposed to that, but I do everything within my power to make this work and make your life be okay because of it. And that may be a horrible example to use, but what I'm saying is if you've got, if you've got no other choice, okay, and you write in whoever you want to, they're not going to win. So, in my opinion, you're making a choice, but it's not really a choice.
Well, I understand what you're saying. You're making a pragmatic argument, and I understand what you're saying. But at the end of the day, when you place your vote for someone, you are placing a personal, spiritual stamp of approval on that, and you are responsible for what that vote. For the person for whom you are voting, what they do.
That's what happens when you vote?
Yeah. Well, I mean, at least that's how I see it. I cannot. I agree with you. I can't put my stamp of approval on Joe Biden. Well, not Joe Biden, but Kamala Harris at this point. But because of my personal convictions, I cannot do so for Donald Trump either. And I think that that's a decision. Nobody should be compelled to place their vote to pick a lesser of two evils. Because, I think pragmatism just doesn't work.
Well, and I think I look at Trump and I'm like, there's a lot that I wish he was better on, but I was already going to go with him for the dancing. And now that he's become the Bitcoin candidate, if you own Bitcoin, I think you should vote for Trump. Just for that pragmatic, practical reason.
Single reason, yeah.
Well, and this is what I have to say about that, back to you, Craig, is that if our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ was on the ticket, you got a perfect. That's perfection, okay? And there you wouldn't have an issue to say, there's he stands for something I don't stand for, but he's not. And humans are imperfect. But if you want to take a human that's going to tell you the truth, even if you don't like it, if you want to take a human that's going to be for America, even if you don't like it, if you want to take a human that's going to be for your dollars coming back in your pocket. If you're going to take a human that's going to say big government is a bad idea, and if you want to take a human that's going to say stop messing with our kids, you're going to take a human that's going to say all life matters.
That latter bit that you just mentioned is why I can't vote for him. He doesn't believe that all life matters.
Roe versus Wade would not have been overturned had it not been for Donald Trump.
Correct, and more babies have been aborted in this nation after Roe versus Wade than before.
I'm going to tell you something. The deep state, as well as anyone, and we barely know how deep and how wide and global it is.
The point I'm making is that Donald Trump has forsaken the traditional stance of the Republican Party when it comes to the protection of unborn life. He's more akin to a liberal in that regard. And for that reason, I cannot sanction someone who supports the slaughter of unborn children. Say that again.
I think he's been more conservative than anyone else that's been in office for the life of the unborn child. If it not for Donald Trump, Roe v. Wade would have never went to the Supreme Court. That's my take on that. And I say, am I going to vote for the pedophile Satanist, dear God, godless administration that's in there now, or am I going to put my vote where I think that Christians are going to be a whole lot better off with Donald Trump in office? And I just,
I appreciate the call and I appreciate the conversation and argument. Thank you.
All right, y'all have a good one.
You too.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Donkey.
Lori.
Donkey Lori, sorry. I go by, I'm a first name basis. I don't want to call her Donkey.
Yeah, but she's got a cute donkey.
Cute donkey? There's not.
She's got a lot of animals.
There's no such thing as not a cute donkey. I have a
Ever been
giant.
kicked by a donkey? It's a damn cute thing.
No.
You've been kicked by a donkey?
I kicked in the side.
How'd that happen?
Say on air.
No,
Just
this
say
is why
it's-
you're here, Eddie, to tell stories like that.
That's why I hate horses, by the way.
Wait, were you trying to sneak up on that donkey?
No, just doing something
Well,
stupid.
some days,
He gave me the old
you're
sidekick.
lonely. He's out drinking moonshine, and he got lonely.
Yeah, sneak up on that
It's
donkey.
an adorable little donkey.
That was not the case.
You know this guy the other day, he missed a show because he was painting his Bigfoot?
What?
You don't have to paint your Bigfoot every once in a while?
You don't have a Bigfoot?
I have a big foot, but I don't have a Bigfoot. What is a Bigfoot?
Explain to him what I mean by painting your Bigfoot.
Outside the Airbnb on Lake Jordan, we have a big Sasquatch, like an 8-foot Sasquatch.
Oh, wow.
So I had to go paint him because the birds poop on him constantly.
Mm-hmm.
And, nobody wants to look at a Sasquatch with bird poop on it, so I had to paint him black. It's like a silhouette thing.
Okay. I think that's a perfectly noble reason to miss a radio show.
But I went there yesterday. Guess what? It's full of bird poop again.
Maybe you should paint it white so the bird poop is less obvious.
Dang, you're on something.
Damn. But who wants a white Sasquatch, though?
Well, it could be like the abominable snowman.
Yeah, it's true. Or a Yeti. It could be a Yeti.
It could be a
I like
Yeti.
the way you're thinking there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not. It can be Yeti during the summer and a black Sasquatch during the winter, because the birds typically stay away.
Or I could start letting an air gun stay at the Airbnb and invite guests to shoot the birds off the Bigfoot.
Well, Bobby, I thought it was a Bigfoot over there on Lake Jordan. Turns out it's a Yeti.
Hey, speaking of that, something crazy. Did you see that for a couple of grand, $5 to $10,000, you can go take a ride on a boat and shoot at pirates?
What?
Yes. You know how the pirates, Houthis, I think they are?
In Somalia,
Yeah.
you can do this.
So, really? Yes.
And I want to do this more than
Yes.
anything.
You
Yeah,
get to
don't
pick-
they
it's
shoot
like
back?
a video game.
Yes, but we
Oh,
have.
Joey, come on.
Come on.
Yeah.
They're showing up in like essentially a rowboat with like a Dremel in the back of it, and they're trying to roll up on your boat.
I don't want to just go murder people.
It's not murder.
They're
You're
trying to
protecting the
rob.
ship.
Did
It
you
happens
watch?
to be, it's going to get attacked.
Did you?
I don't want to be part of somebody's private security
Did you
force.
watch Captain Phillips?
Yes.
You want that to happen? Do you want Tom Hanks?
Right.
You have to know.
Yeah, yeah.
By the way, what a brilliant performance that actor made.
Oh,
just
yeah.
coming out of nowhere.
Oh, yeah. Man, that's a real thing.
It's a real
Tourism
thing,
to go
man.
like shoot
I
pirates.
thought it was like a Beyond the Bee type story. No, real deal.
I have the perfect setup for it too. I have a Recce rifle that would be brilliant for that sort of.
Oh, I gotta ask you. This just came to mind. Again, Friday free for all 272-9228. If you want to hop in on the program, Senator Katie Britt calling in at 2:30, about an hour from now. What did you think of the Olympic shooting competitions, air pistol competition? The guy from Turkey.
The guy from Turkey was awesome, but I've got to tell you, I have hated Olympic shooting since I can remember. I watch it and it's repulsive to me.
Why?
Because it's they have these contraptions and they have all
Right.
these cyclops eye crap.
Yes, I agree.
And then they just sitting there arching their back like a fruit and doing a mating call at Pete Buttigieg's pool party. And they're trying to pull off these shots, and it's just like, that's not shooting. That's something else. But that guy from Turkey, I want to smoke cigarettes with that guy. I want to talk about all the things.
Let me go ahead and tell you, it's Camel non-filtered.
Dude, I love the Turks. The Turks are my favorite.
I
Middle
just
Eastern
love. He had none of that special equipment. He just had his hand in his pocket.
It's some blue jeans.
And he was doing better than anybody else.
and
No
he was-
pressure.
Well, he got silver. Somebody else did better.
Look, I mean, but
I
come
think
on.
he kind of did that on purpose.
But you got to know that person sitting up there with all this equipment on their
Right.
face, where they look like that freaking guy from the Justice League. I can't remember, the cyborg up there doing all this fancy crap.
One looked like Pinhead from
Yeah,
Hellraiser.
it's impossible. But you got to know that he doesn't appreciate that gold looking next to this guy who's just sitting there, both eyes open,
right,
just plinking.
And in his
just so
pocket,
good.
very casual.
Yeah.
So casual. He was going. I've been less casual, like going to Walmart.
Right.
Like, he was on a national stage and he just had his hand in his pocket and he looked like he was thinking like, okay, yeah, I got the oil change last week, so I don't have to deal with that for him.
Well, and people were making up whole fake backstories for the guy,
I
like
heard
he
it's
just went
divorce.
through a terrible divorce and lost the kids and lost his dog, so he became like an ace shooter, and now he wants his dog back.
Meanwhile, he's probably like a legitimate hit.
Oh yeah,
man
he's
for
probably
some sort of
UTF
Turkish
born is who he
gang.
is. Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Yes, very much so.
And there are some folks, it's folks who are, say, really good at archery, or you pick any sort of
Instinctive shooting. You just
like where they, it almost is
it's amazing.
spiritual.
You can't
like
if you get
can't,
around an instinctive shooter, you just put your stuff down and walk
It's
away.
not a science. It becomes an art. It becomes something that you can't really define.
Well, even the archery in the Olympics, all this the equipped
Exactly,
nature
all
of
over
it,
the
it's
top.
just so boring. Meanwhile, you'll see guys that'll even have compound bows, not even just like a recurve. They'll have a compound bow without without any sort of sighting. They just have the reps and they can get it done.
You ever heard Ted Nugent talking about this
Yes,
stuff? How you beat one with the arrow? And
It's
stuff?
fantastic.
Oh, it's awesome.
Have you seen this guy? I can't remember his name. I think he might be Dutch, but he does the most insane archery tricks where he'll he studied ancient archery and figured out how they did it, and he holds all his arrows in one hand. He does a trick where he has an arrow shot at him and he catches it and catches it mid-air. He jumps in the air, catches the arrow, and shoots it back at the target before he hits the ground. This guy is insane.
That is insane.
He's a ninja.
That's some like Japanese anime stuff right there.
He sits there, he has these little bows, he's like, dunk, 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 dunk. Wow. That's how fast he's shooting, and he does it. I can't remember the guy's name. He's on the spectrum for sure when you look at him and you hear him talk. But he is so impressive with what he can do. And meanwhile, you look at the Olympics, and they call it a bow, but it looks like something that they just dragged out of some factory.
Right.
Have all these counterweight. It's just boring. It's
Right.
just boring.
I agree.
We got to hit another break here soon. But first, this part of the program brought to you by Montgomery Men's Health. And there at Montgomery Men's Health, well, fellas, they can help you out, especially if you're just feeling run down and tired all the live long day, gaining weight. It's not like you're eating more, your diet didn't change, you're losing muscle mass, and you're still working out. It's like you're tired, not just physically, lacking energy and drive, but you also are like mentally not there. Like you got a fog hanging over you, and you're really never in the mood. You know what I'm talking about. No sex drive to speak of. Well, it could very well be low testosterone causing a lot of these issues. So why not stop by Montgomery Men's Health? The providers there will conduct a testosterone-focused lab workup, plus a consultation for only $99. And they have low T treatments there at Montgomery Men's Health that can truly change lives. Men can experience higher energy, better gains in the gym. Brother. That's right, brother. Better mental clarity, improved sleep patterns, a faster metabolism. You usually even notice an increased libido.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
And then you can actually book the same day that you call. That number, 440-3663. That's 440-3663. Or go to MontgomeryMen'sHealth.com to book your appointment today. We've got some calls rolling in here. Let's go to line one. You're on the air. Who's this?
Hey, Joey. How you guys doing
Hey,
today?
David.
How you doing, Dave?
David.
Doing awesome, man. Hey, I think that we need to have Olympics. Remember about 20 years ago when North Korea tried to get the Olympics and they didn't realize that the Olympics didn't go to a country, it goes to a city. And so they invented their own Olympics and had things like putting together an AK-47 blindfolded and lobbing hand grenades.
And a rat eating contest.
I've had the fried rat. It's pretty good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Is that when you got kicked by that donkey?
No.
Honestly, how much different can it be than eating like a guinea pig or a
Or
squirrel
gopher.
or a squirrel?
Mhm.
I've had guinea pig and I've had squirrel.
Had squirrel, never had the guinea pig.
That's just like a South American thing.
I would
Yeah,
try.
have you
it.
Yeah.
Have you ever eaten a meso squirrel?
I don't know what that is.
No.
I grew up in
That's where you
China.
don't
I would curl your nose hairs with the things that I've eaten. I'm pretty sure I've eaten a human
Did
here.
you
or
do a
there.
lot of street food in China? Because I see it and it looks great, but then I'm scared to death.
I'm
of
telling you, I am telling you that the street food in China is the best food in China.
Is that right?
And and it only comes out after about 10 o'clock at night. They're the real good stuff, except for the Uyghur Muslims. They're pretty much during the day. It's difficult to get halal food there. But yeah, it's the best that China has to offer, the street food. It's called Xiao Kao, and it is glorious.
Now, David, Craig has this whole backstory about living in China, but he's still not allowed at the Petco down the street.
I am not.
Well, you know, the old saying is the Chinese will eat anything with four legs except a table.
Nice.
He's not wrong.
Nice.
Yeah. You call it Petco, I call it Costco. You know what I mean?
Oh, man, you got to try Petco's hot dog.
Yeah. I don't euthanize my pets. They're just lunch.
Oh, goodness gracious. Too much time in China.
Yeah.
272-9228 if you want to jump in on whatever this is. There's a few other things we could get to today. I forgot that James Lindsay, he continues to, and I don't know if he's just messing with folks or he really believes it. I think he really believes it. Talking about the Kamala's favorite phrase, unburdened by what has been sort of stuff.
Okay.
He's explaining how it's, there's a problem with it. Let's listen in together. Hold on. I need to reset something here on the stream.
Mm-hmm.
Occasionally, this technology just doesn't serve us well, folks. But
Are you becoming a boomer?
Hope not. I'd rather be a silent generation type of guy. Here it is.
Vice President Harris will say repeatedly, what is the quote? The quote is that we can see what can be unburdened by what has been.
Right.
Is that word salad or Marxism? It's Marxism. That is, in fact, not at all word salad. It is a Marxist, as I said on Twitter the other day and got mocked relentlessly by the media for this, I said it's a Marxist incantation, as a matter of fact. It's like a spell. So you can see the possibility of a world that's unburdened from its own history, which is exactly what Mao Zedong did when he launched the campaign of Smash the Four Olds, the four old characteristics of Chinese society. They were going to make a new China that was going to be unburdened by what had been in the past of China. This is what the Soviets, the Bolsheviks, did when they took over power in Russia, is that they were going to make the new Russia. They're going to make the new man, as a matter of fact. People could become unburdened by what has been so that they could see what could possibly be in the terms of a socialist utopia. So, Madam Vice President, when she says that, I assume, given that her father was a Marxist and a professor, I assume she knows what she's saying, and I don't buy her Idiot Valley speak shtick one bit. I think she's far more smart and far more savvy than conservatives have given her credit for, and she is an outright Marxist. It is very, very clear in her language, and that's what the Democrats want to nominate for president right now, which is kind of horrifying.
Indeed.
I
think it's a little over the top.
I think it's a bit over the top. He's like, I'm not buying her Valley Girl shtick. I am. She's not reading. She's never read Das Kapital. She doesn't know anything about Marxist thought. She doesn't know, like.
Yeah, but you don't have to be into all the academic, intellectual side of a thing to be part of the.
Well, true, but true. She's been indoctrinated the same way that everyone else has been, but she's not injecting a political theory into a trite statement that she's repeated. She's objectively a dummy, and so I don't think I think she thinks it sounds good. But it is fundamentally a Marxist thing, and what he said about Mao was correct. Again, going back to China, I had to drive by a giant statue of that SOB almost on a daily basis, and so that's history began for the Chinese people with Mao Zedong. They don't know anything about what happened before then.
Now, I've been holding off, just shifting gears here before we hit a break, but it looks like the Dow is still down about 1.85%, 747 points, and that is because of very weak jobs numbers in July, only 114,000.
Yeah.
Really missing the mark. And they've been revising down.
That's going to
all these jobs they claim they created. Actually, no, we didn't. We overestimated that by a few hundred thousand.
Every time we have Democrats in the office. You know how many times that happened under Trump?
Right.
0.
And so, like that, again, I keep saying the table's not fully set. If you actually start to see a full-on recession, I'd say, hey, maybe a good bellwether is real estate prices are falling in Florida. And it's not necessarily basic supply and demand.
No.
It has more to do with, say, BlackRock and folks pulling out of that housing market that they've been propping up. So who knows? Maybe you have an economic collapse on your doorstep as you head into November. I'm not predicting that. I'm just saying what a mess this year has been so far. What a month this has been.
It's going to get worse.
Yeah. I have a sense it is going to get worse. So,
so this election cycle, I texted you this. It's testing my sobriety. There's just reading the stupid, the wicked and evil mainstream corporate media. It can be so enraging sometimes.
Well,
it's actually the only thing that's capable of enraging.
And it's not just, I agree with you there, but it's also like I've seen it with the MAGA Twitter people. It's just everybody's so dishonest.
I sincerely hope that a meteor, a golf ball sized meteor, enters our atmosphere and lands directly on the skull of Laura Loomer, because she is the pinnacle of all that is wrong on the Trumpian side of things. I admire Trump. I admire some of his policies. Having people like that is a detriment because she's dishonest, she's vile, she's a liar, and there's several people very Loomer-esque attached to the Trump camp. And it's so infuriating because they're supposed to be the side of right and sense and common sense. You expect crazy from the left. You shouldn't welcome craziness from the right. You just shouldn't.
Now, before we hit this break, some more real fake news from the Babylon Bee. The headline reads, in latest attack, orcs call Aragorn weird. Reporting from the Pelennor Fields of Gondor, after receiving new marching orders from Sauron Campaign HQ at Barad-dûr, the orcs of Mordor have gone to the media in a coordinated effort to broadcast the message that the upstart king Aragorn is just plain weird and creepy. The orcs have gone on ABC, CNN, and MSNBC programs to point out how Aragorn, son of Arathorn II, is super weird for things like being a nomadic ranger in the north, going by his alias of Strider, and being able to speak Elvish languages. Who lives in the wilderness and changes their names? Asked Grothbarg. Like, seriously, who does that? That's weird. Again, fake news. It's very real from the Babylon Bee. This part of the program brought to you by, I could have kept reading too.
Please.
All Pro Heating, Air, and Electrical bringing you this part of the program. Of course, they're right in Tallahassee, Alabama. Beautiful part.
Gorgeous.
Of the area. But they're serving all of the river region and surrounding areas. Let them be your one-stop shop for all HVAC and electrical needs. And if you haven't had the HVAC tuned up this summer, you're playing with fire, literally. Like, if the AC goes out, especially in August, that's going to be a miserable few weeks because how long is it going to take to get parts to get that thing redone?
That's right.
Now, it could be you really are in that jam and All Pro can help you out there, but it'd be better not to have to deal with that in the first place. Have them come out, check up that AC unit, or maybe you're looking for, say, a Generac generator. They can install a brand new Generac generator so you can make sure the power stays on when you really need it as these storms roll through, especially if you're relying on certain medical devices or things for work. Having the Generac generator is crucial. So check out All Pro today. You can always go to allproheatingair.com or give them a call at 301-1961. That's 301-1961. And be sure to tell them that you heard about them here from those fellas on the radio, Joey and Eddie.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Hi, this is Bo Goodson from the Goodson Group with your updated market report. Through 7 months of 2024, over 2,900 homes have sold and closed in the river region. The average price was $260,000, and 60% of these homes sold in 60 days or less. Since mortgage rates have dropped over a point, buyers can save thousands of dollars in payments of what it would have been just 8 weeks ago. The supply of homes has increased, giving buyers more choices than they've had all year. To identify your next home, focus on what's important to you as features that will make the move worthwhile. By getting pre-approved with a local lender, hiring the best home inspector, and most importantly, hiring an experienced buyer agent will make it all go smoothly. For a list of 17 essential buyer agent services and a list of the best lenders and local inspectors, call Bo Goodson from the Goodson Group at 221-2883 or 551-0225.
Are you tired of the mainstream media's biased reporting? Do you want to stay informed on the news that really matters to you? Look no further than 1819 News. At 1819 News, we bring you the latest in Alabama news, politics, sports, culture, and more. We've assembled a team of journalists with Alabama values dedicated to the truth and the truth alone. Visit us at 1819news.com today. That's 1819news.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. Honest News, Alabama Values. This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network, brought to you by Montgomery Paint and Body. From a little fender bender to total body repair, MPB will fix it good as new, maybe better. For over 35 years, the Turner family has been getting you back on the road. Call 279-7325.
Rich Thomas Weather. Stay hydrated this weekend, and of course, slow down and take it easy and stay out of the sun as much as possible. With today's actual high around 98, triple-digit heat indices in the 105 to 110 danger range. Tonight, very oppressive with the overnight low temperature in the upper 70s. Any showers and storms that develop today will be very isolated in nature, perhaps a little bit more widely scattered as we get into Saturday and Sunday, mostly in the afternoon and evening hours. I've got the high in the mid to upper 90s on Saturday, and looks like mid-90s on Sunday at least. Triple-digit heat indices. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
For the lowest prices around on flooring and DIY flooring installation supplies, Budget Floors and More is your new best friend. Luxury vinyl plank, carpet, ceramic tile, floor installation supplies, and more with prices lower than the big box stores. Budget Floors and More, Hunter Lane across from Del Rey to Publix.
Live, local talk. The River Region's most trusted voice for news and opinion. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. 272-9228 if you want to jump in on the free-flowing stream of consciousness conversation that we're having today. Again, reminder, United States Senator Katie Britt here from Montgomery is calling in at 2:30.
Do we need a 30-minute silliness buffer between when she comes on? Because like no silliness 30 minutes before, so she's not taking.
No, I think we bring her into our world.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think she appreciates that. Remember, she brought us Christmas gifts one time.
Well, and we're lately her Twitter activity has been pretty silly.
It's been bussing. You know what we should
do? Bussing. Look at you. All right.
Eddie's over here like it's all good in the hood. Now you're going bussing, no cap. What the heck?
That Teddy Lou tweet talking about how Kamala's fundraising is bussing. Ever since then, I haven't been able to get that word out of my head because it's just so humiliating for a grown man to use.
Did you see Bishop Burrow's response to Ted Lou?
To Ted Lou, he's immune from shame.
It's just awful. Let's go to Red Top. Hey, Red Top, how you doing?
Hey guys, thank God I don't waste my time with Babylon B or anything. I'm one of those two people that still is in the real world, and there's two real things that's happening.
No sense of humor.
Well, you should be fun at parties.
Oh, I'm a lot more fun than you would believe. I could be the life of the party. Like every redhead.
Anyway.
Everybody loves a redhead.
You're a ginger. Ooh. I mean, sorry, go ahead.
Too bad if you don't like it. We don't give a damn. You know what?
You have to have a soul to give a damn.
The poor guys, I got a lot of soul, buddy. So don't tell me about my soul. But just stop interrupting me.
I'm sorry.
I'm trying to tell you something. The guys are not coming home from the Boeing Starliner. They're still up there. And at this point, if I was them, I would ride home in that damn thing, would you?
I thought Elon Musk was going to go help him out here in a little bit.
That's the point.
Yeah.
Even the Boeing astronauts don't want to fly down in that damn thing.
I'd want to stay up there, honestly.
Yeah, can we go to Mars now?
Yeah,
right.
Gosh. And Joey, did you see the cradle he's going to land in yet, the Starship? You got to see that.
No, let me look it up now.
It's amazing. And you can see why they want to expand the landing area, because this is going to be a very interesting event. Next, Netanyahu has done more this week to deter Iran than the Americans have done in a long damn time. They're scared to death now of Israel. And the guy that he got in Iran was the guy who did the Beirut embassy bombing. You realize that, don't you?
No, I didn't know he was the one responsible for that.
$6 billion reward for this man ever since it happened, and Netanyahu got him in one night. So,
Oh yeah, and they snuck a bomb into that residence they knew he'd be staying in, and then
they got the Hamas leader, and then they got the big plant. They have shut the Yemenis down. They hurt them a lot. They bombed their drone plant. They did more damage in one night than America has done ever since they've had their coalition in the Red Sea.
of course now the Ayatollah has ordered a attack. We'll see what's going to happen here.
You know what? Netanyahu said in Hebrew, "We ain't pissing around with you people no more." So, if I was them, I wouldn't mess with him because he's kind of evil. He's kind of evil. They got a lot of nasty stuff, and I don't think Iran stands a chance.
They stand a significant chance
Appreciate
without
the
the backing of the USA, which it is questionable because Biden has sort of been flip floppy with the support for Israel coming up to November. And let's be honest, without the support of the USA, Israel doesn't exist.
Yeah, warships moved in already after all this went down, and they've said explicitly, I think the Secretary of Defense said they're going to do the same thing they did last time Iran sent an attack. And I would say that it's not just concern for Israel, though that's plenty of justification for many. It's that part of the world, I said the other day this week, is, I think, held together by iron and blood.
Yeah.
And can you imagine if an actual wide war where the U.S. is not the dominant player goes on there, where you have, say, Turkey jumps in? Oh, then what do the Kurds do? What did all the different ethnic factions of Iraq end up doing? Do you actually keep missiles or drones going back from Saudi Arabia, from the Arab nations and the Persians and Iran? Like it could become a mess incredibly quickly. How many folks, say, in Sunni Islam want to overthrow, say, the Jordanian monarch?
Yeah.
Like it's just, there's so many different forces there.
And it takes a lifetime to understand the dynamics. I don't pretend to understand anything close to anything sufficiently to be an authoritative voice on the subject. Right. But you don't have to be a scholar of the Middle East to see that it's incredibly unstable right now, and unfortunately the United States has played a significant role in its destabilization over the past 30 years.
Well, and luckily it looks like Turkey is mostly just yapping. So I don't think they necessarily jump in.
You saw their Olympic shooter.
Yeah, I would not want to mess with a guy like that.
The problem is I like Turkey. They really do have a great history, a great culture. Just that entire region just needs to just behave yourselves. It's not difficult. Just behave.
People have aspirations.
Well, go swim in the waters of Ephesus, and Eddie will tell you about it.
The Aegean Sea, it's kind of thick, kind of got some sheens in there, like oil sheens, and yeah.
What about those poor Paris swimmers that had to swim in the?
That's what brought up this conversation yesterday.
Yeah, I fell in the Aegean Sea, and that's kind of how that was. There.
So, what did you think? I think I had a hit on my hands with what I wrote this week. But what did you think of that whole Olympic opening ceremony thing?
I thought it was par for the course.
Yeah,
it was disgusting. Yeah. The entire display. Why? This is my question. Why does it have to be drag? And why do kids have to be involved?
Right.
It's, I made a tweet about this, and you can't read it on the radio show, obviously, but why are they obsessed with pushing this? Now, and by the way, the whole people that were talking about it not being a depiction of the Last Supper, yes, it was. The artist,
the guy came out and said it.
Yeah, the guy came out and said it, then he flip-flopped whenever.
Well, and a lot of the production assistants at the Olympics were calling it that, the Last Supper on the Sin.
And it's like people are like, oh, Republicans don't know about Dionysus. By the way, I was reading about Dionysus when you were still in diapers. And obviously Bacchus, the Roman counterpart of that. Don't tell me. Nerd
alert!
Yeah. By the way, do you notice how nobody presented an artistic representation that mirrored that display, the opening ceremony? It was all Da Vinci. Everyone was pointing to Da Vinci. There's not another one that it could have been. Mm-hmm. But even beside that, when you the decadence and the complete failure of Western civilization was displayed I remember, again, going back to China, I'm super Chinese today for some reason, but I remember when they hosted the Beijing Olympics,
Yeah.
it was such a big deal. And when they had an opening ceremony, I remember watching it live. They had like 10,000 guys in traditional Chinese garments banging on drums, and they had like this light display. You can
In
look
unison.
it up.
I remember that.
It was awe-inspiring, and that's what it should be. It's like this is a display of our culture, and it's like it gave you like a wartime, battle time feel to it, and you were like, man, these people are proud of their culture.
Well, and I would even say like the British opening ceremony had a lot of great moments too.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
would like what you've got Mr. Bean doing a joke, and you've got Kenneth Branagh reading, doing a Shakespeare monologue, and like, okay. He, by the way, Branagh said that was the most nerve-wracking thing he's ever done in his life. Well, think about it. To go out there, it's not like a stage play that you've practiced for a while and you're ready to go and you've been doing it night after night. No, this is in a huge arena with billions watching. Now start using all this archaic language and get it across well. Like,
But it's like that. France is like one of the biggest cradles of Western civilization,
right?
And this is what you have.
But they've been this way for 200 years. They've been constantly perverting and tearing things down for a long time.
But it was sad because so many great writers, so many great artists,
Sure.
theologians, the best theologian of all time, John Calvin, he was a Frenchman.
Right.
And it's like, and this is where we've arrived at. Like, we can't celebrate food. You have to have some repulsive, obscene depiction of Marie Antoinette. Like, that's what we're doing here.
Right. Yeah, it was a little much. And that was before I saw the whole Last Supper thing. I'm like, what am I even
And you have
watching?
like drag queens dancing with children. So
Yeah,
what
I'm
the
like-
are you doing?
Right. Yeah.
What are you doing? This is the best that you have to offer.
Right.
You're putting your culture in front of everyone to see.
This is your culture?
And
Well,
this
it's-
is your culture?
It's not like I don't obviously just listen to the show. I obviously love send-ups and over-the-top spectacles. I like the new Deadpool movie. Like, I mean, there's a time and a place for all sorts of things. There's number one is setting, and how do you pull it off? And when I watch this, I'm just like, what are we doing?
Yeah, it's like that's your chance to be nationalistic.
Well, and I thought, okay, why do you need more drag when you had Lady Gaga already? This part of the program brought to you by Alabama Home Mortgage. And there, Kim and Madeline can help you with, buying a home. They can walk you through that home buying process
They sure
from pre-approval all the way to closing day. Or if you're looking to refinance a home, especially if you're a veteran.
Yeah.
Even with current rates, where the market is. Like, if you're a veteran, it's the best game in town.
Best game in town.
And the turnaround time, we were talking about that this week with Madeline. What did they say with the VA home loan? They can do it in 14 days on
14 or
average?
15 days, which is amazing. Because your average home loan closing is 30, 45 days.
Maybe you're just looking for an appraisal. They can help you there. Maybe you're not even looking to like sell or whatever. You're just wondering at this point in the market, what's my house worth?
Yeah.
Alabama Home Mortgage are the gold standard of appraisals there. So check them out today. Get by there. Get to know them. They'll get to know you. They can help you out whatever your goals, whether you're looking to buy or refi. That number, 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or you can always visit them online, apply online at myalabamahomemortgage.com. There is a difference in mortgage companies like Kim and Madeline. Prove that to you today. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
This is your roving reporter, and today I am talking with an elk. Hey man. Mr. Elk, I was just wondering, what do elk do to take care of their money? Well, like most smart folks, we call David Erdit. You mean Alabama's most favorite asset preservationist? That's him, man. We call him up at 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. I see. Yes, he is our preferred money man. The money man with the money plan. You've been paying attention. Well, could you give us those numbers one more time? 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I just want to try to give you a heads up, man. Oh, what's that? I'm not an elk. Not an elk, huh? Well, then, pray tell, what are you? Knights of Columbus. I am not even going to make a comment. Well, the baby liked it.
Don't you love the feeling of coming home to a clean house? Let Southern Bell's cleaning service get your home in order. Families in the River region trust Southern Bell's because they know Callan and Jesse will show up on time and believe in cleaning the old-fashioned way. They bring all their own supplies and specialize in full-service, residential, commercial, vacant properties, and construction cleanup. Estimates are always free. Call Southern Bells today at 546-0715 or follow them on Facebook at Southern Bells Cleaning River Region.
Hey, this is Randy with Super Phone Center on Burbank Drive. When we advertise with Blue Water Broadcasting, we get results. Spend your money where it counts. Blue Water Broadcasting.
Did you know that radio is the #1 reach platform in all of media? It's true. Call us to find out how to put radio's #1 reach to work for your business. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
The River Region's News Talk Station. News Talk 93.1. WACV. News Talk 93.1.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. 272-9228 if you want to get in on the program. Eddie, you're the only one who's not dancing any.
Somebody sent me a picture of a thermostat and doesn't seem to be working.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh crap.
Yeah.
I had that problem earlier this week. I got it fixed, thank God.
Just have an issue after issue. Hey, could you call the fellow we need to call?
Yeah, I'll call him right now.
Okay. And I'll go
Ghostbusters?
to line one. You're on the air. Who's this?
Hi, Joey. It's Pat.
Hey, Pat.
I'm taking a break from you guys. Actually, all talk radio for about the last month, just going back to Caleb because my blood pressure just couldn't stand it.
Fair.
my wife called me a few minutes ago. She goes, "Are you listening to Joey's show?" And she goes, "No, I hear Caleb in the background." She goes, "You gotta call in for me." I said, "You call in." She's at work. She can't. Earlier, one of you, I didn't hear the conversation, but you were talking about the abortion issue and evil versus the lesser of two evils. And she was saying sometimes, you've got to choose the lesser of two evils when they're both evil. And she was wanting to make that comment. But as I was waiting, I think I heard Craig say that he thought that John Calvin was one of the greatest theologians that ever lived.
Yes.
And I'm going, okay, I'd like to hear some support for that because I'm definitely not a Calvinist and I don't believe in predestination. Because
I'm just saying, Pat, I'm interrupting you because I have 3 minutes left in this hour, and don't tempt Craig.
Yes.
So it would probably be a fascinating response, but man,
yeah, I am a stout Calvinist. I am a Guinness Calvinist. I am so Calvinistic it makes my teeth hurt. And I love John Calvin. I love the Institutes of the Christian Religion. I think they're the greatest theological works ever written. All renditions of it. So yeah, I doubt this is the time or place to have a debate on predestination. But just so that I'm making myself very clear, I am super Calvinist.
Yeah, okay. Well, when we both get to heaven, we'll sit and discuss that someday over iced tea or something.
Absolutely, and I'll accept your apology then.
Goodness, he can't help himself.
I'm sorry.
You have a blessed day.
All right, love you, buddy.
You just can't help.
That was good fun.
Yeah,
that was
great.
Yeah,
that was really good.
Just tame.
Hey, don't you?
What?
You go paint your Bigfoot again, all right?
Hey, so you know what?
Change out a thermostat.
I know.
You know what, Eddie? I think Joey is jealous of the relationship that you and I have.
Oh, he's jealous of a lot of things.
Yeah.
Let's go to Michael Cohen of Cohen's Electronics and Appliances. Hey, Michael.
How you doing?
Oh, jealous. How you doing?
He's green with envy.
Yeah, I'll be your Huckleberry. No.
Happy Friday.
All right.
So how's it going at Cohen's today?
It's going very well. It's going good.
So,
Mike.
I'm sorry.
So Michael Jackson's been hustling. He's been to Auburn today. He's been to Opelika today. He had 2 stops in Montgomery, and he just left out with another 2 TVs to get installed.
Well, there you go. And are there any special, say, deals going on right now here in the middle of the summer?
You know, we've gotten to a point where Sony has changed some of their models and they've added some new models. So we do have some clearance on some of the existing models that they have and some that we're going to kind of phase out. Like you can get a Sony 65-inch, 4K, smart television, LED. I can get you one of those starting at about $799.
I like that. That's a good price right there.
I have one of the 75-inch units left that I can do for $999.
And these are high quality TVs, folks. Like I'm a customer and I'm very happy. I went with the Samsung, but the Sony product is also great.
Very good.
And when you have somebody like Michael Jack's able to deliver and install and get it up to your standards there at the home, well, you can't go wrong with Cohen's.
That's right. And you know, to me, everything that we do, it's all about the stuff that you didn't come for. You know, people come here to buy a TV or they come here to buy a washer and a dryer, but it's all the installation, it's all the service. And that's the stuff that we hope separates us from all the box stores.
There you go.
Is it we want to take care of you, we want it to be installed properly, we want to teach you how to use the remote control, put in all your apps and your passwords, and just make everything as simple as possible.
So y'all can always check out thinkcohens.com if you want to shop from home, but there's nothing like stopping by, seeing everybody in person there, 2515 Eastern Boulevard here in Montgomery. They're open 9 to 6, Monday through Friday, 9 to 4 on Saturdays. And be sure to find Michael, one of the team members, and say, hey, I heard you on that radio show with Joey and Eddie and Craig.
Yeah, Joey and Craig and the guy that likes Craig better. But
Thanks, well,
y'all have a great weekend.
You too, Michael. Well, we got to hit this top of the hour break. Y'all stay tuned.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. On Wall Street, stocks have been sinking on worries the U.S. economy could be cracking under the weight of high interest rates meant to whip inflation. The Labor Department's jobs report showed hiring by U.S. employers slowed last month by much more than expected. That sent fear through the markets. Vice President Harris says she's honored to be the presumptive Democratic presidential nominee. Democratic National Committee Chair Jamie Harrison said Harris had secured enough votes from Democratic delegates to officially be the party's nominee. A storm system brewing over Cuba could bring torrential rain and flooding to the Florida Peninsula this weekend. The forecast is especially concerning for low-lying coastal and urban areas that were inundated back in June. The Dow dropping 775 points, the NASDAQ off 430. This is SRN News.
Government debt is now exploding by an unprecedented $1 trillion every 90 days. Think of that. It's a clear sign that our nation's finances are spinning out of control, and it's putting the savings of every one of you at risk. Hello, I'm Lance Wallnow, a news analyst and best-selling author and an evangelical leader. I'm deeply concerned about the impact this runaway debt is going to have on Christians like you who have worked hard to build your own nest egg for your family. To protect your financial future in these uncertain times, you need to diversify with something tangible and proven, like physical gold. That's why I recommend a gold IRA. To learn more, text FAITH to the number 989898, and my friends at Birch Gold Group will rush you a free info kit on how to move your IRA or 401k to physical precious metals, tax and penalty-free. So don't wait. Just text the word FAITH to 989898 to get your free info kit on gold IRAs. Birch Gold Group is the only company I trust. There's no obligation. So text FAITH to 989898, and I pray this information helps you achieve prosperity and peace of mind.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network, brought to you by Alabama Wholesale Lumber. Alabama Wholesale Lumber, the best quality building materials in the river region for decades. From common builds to special orders and local delivery. Call Alabama Wholesale Lumber.
Stay hydrated this weekend, and of course, slow down and take it easy and stay out of the sun as much as possible. With today's actual high around 98, triple-digit heat indices in the 105 to 110 danger range. Tonight, very oppressive with the overnight low temperature in the upper 70s. Any showers and storms that develop today will be very isolated in nature, perhaps a little bit more widely scattered as we get into Saturday and Sunday, mostly in the afternoon and evening hours. I've got the high in the mid to upper 90s on Saturday, and looks like mid-90s on Sunday at least. Triple-digit heat indices. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Whether you're buying a home or auto or consolidating debt, CB&S Bank's personal loans get you where you need to go. Go to cbsbank.com to find a location near you or apply online today. All loans subject to credit approval, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
1819 News.
Alabama's federal lawmakers are speaking out about the Olympic female boxing match that occurred this week, where Italian fighter Angela Carini had to forfeit the game after being punched by a man who claims to be a woman. Imani Khalif was kicked out of the International Boxing Association after he failed a DNA test to prove that he was a woman. However, the International Olympic Committee permitted Khalif to compete in female boxing this week. U.S. Senators Katie Britt and Tommy Tuberville are expressing outrage at the decision, and they posted pictures of Carini and her shattered dreams of competing in the Olympics for fear of a life-altering injury at the hands of a man. Britt says Americans should not forget that the changes to Title IX language by Joe Biden and Kamala Harris is going to bring this risk of injury and unfairness to schools, colleges, and universities here in the U.S. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
I'm Amy Beth Shaver with Alabama Unfiltered Radio, and when I need the news and I need it fast, I turn to Andrea Tice and the Daily Detail. On my way in, it is the most convenient, best way for me to digest what's going on so that I can use it for our show. She tells you what's going on in Alabama that day first and fast. So listen to the Daily Detail with Andrea Tice. Don't miss out.
The Daily Detail is available wherever podcasts are found.
A child found walking outside alone in Shelby County has led to a drug bust. Jason Miller is now facing child endangerment charges as well as possession of illegal drugs with the intent to distribute. The child was spotted in the parking lot of an apartment complex on Thursday. When police discovered where the child lived, they found narcotics out in the open at that apartment and within reach of children. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Hello, everyone. Robbie Pelt with Capital City Roofing. If you think about it, your home is your biggest investment in life. Your roof covers your home, so why jeopardize your biggest investment on a roofer you don't know anything about when you can deal with a reputable roofing company like Capital City Roofing? We have an A+ Better business rating and the best manufacturers and workmanship warranties available. We do all residential and commercial roofing applications that are certified through the manufacturer to ensure you get the best material and workmanship money can buy. We also have your project in our best interest before and after construction has been done. Don't hesitate to call us if you have any roofing issues or questions. We will match any of our competitors' price and give you the same great workmanship warranty. We also give free estimates. Give us a call today and let us show you the difference. 277-3311. That's 277-3311. Or you can check us out on the web at www.capitalcityroofing.com. Capital City Roofing. We capitalize the roofing industry.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's News and Views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. Again, United States Senator Katie Britt should be joining us over the phone at 2:30. Looking forward to that. Both...
Huge Auburn fan, I hear.
yeah, right.
You didn't know that?
Big Auburn fan.
Big Auburn fan.
War Eagle.
War Eagle. Let's go to, who's this?
Kelly.
Kelly. Hey, Kelly, how you doing?
Hey, Joey, how are you?
Good.
Hey, listen, I was a little put off by Senator Tuberville on your show, whining about the salaries of Congress not keeping up with inflation. How does he think we feel?
No, I think he knows that it sucks even worse for folks who are just making it out here.
Well, what if they actually done to make $174,000 a year? Because they haven't done anything to hold this regime accountable for anything yet.
Right. I agree there. Of course, you need majorities in the Senate to get much anything done, and it seems like it's always eluding us. I understood his point, but I also heard what you heard as well. I think his point is if you restrict all the incentives, who's actually going to try to go and change things for the better? But to your point, there's a lot of us struggling out there, and don't be complaining about $175K a year.
Yeah, I'd like to make that much a year. I always hear people complain about not having godly people in government. Well, we need some godly leaders to step up and run for office.
I agree.
100%.
But the problem is, how do you know it? Because somebody could say it, and they show it by their action over time. Because they say whatever they need to say when it comes election day.
There really is a trite God's guns and Constitution line that a lot of people will throw out, and then they get actually into office and they don't vote in any way that you would expect a Christian to do.
Have you seen any church leaders running for office? I haven't.
No, that was actually banned in the original colonies, in the American colonies. You couldn't be a pastor and a leader of any sort of what's the word I'm looking for? Civil leader. You had to be a baptized member of a church, most oftentimes Presbyterian, in order to hold public office. But you could not be a pastor and hold public office.
Interesting.
I'm not just talking about pastors. There's a lot of godly leaders in churches. I mean, so if you want to change the government, get out of the church and run for office.
No, that's true though, but it's unfortunate though, because the Christian church has been like very politically gnostic over the past several decades, where they've sort of sat by and just and honestly, dispensationalism is really to blame for this, because most Christians have terrible eschatology and they're sort of anticipating that things are going to get worse and worse and worse before the apocalypse, and so they see things getting worse and worse and worse as being a net good. And I think that pendulum is swinging back, thank God, and a lot more Christians are getting involved, especially stout conservative Christians. Dusty Devers is probably the best example of that. The pendulum is swinging, but it's a slow change. But you're 100% right.
Yeah, it's very slow. We need to quit being so tolerant.
100%, I agree. Tolerance is not a insult that someone could throw my way by any means.
I know, because the church I attend, I bring things up, and they keep their heads in the sand, and they just want to say God's in control. He also gave us a brain and a voice to use.
Correct. I think it's a big cognitive dissonance with people, because they think, we need to stay out of this politics. We just need to preach the gospel. And we're commanded to pray for kings and those in authority, but they never think about what those kings and people in authority should do once they've repented. Do they legislate like Christians, or do they continue to legislate like pagans? And if you then have a sort of Christian takeover of your political institutions, is that going to fundamentally change the cultural makeup of your society? And you have to say yes. And so that's the whole Christian nationalism scare tactics that they like to use, when all it means is, voting and legislating based on your own moral compass, which is informed by the Christian faith.
Well, we can see it's good versus evil now, and hopefully good will win in November. Y'all have a good day.
You too, Kelly. Appreciate you. Let's go to line 3. You're on there. Who's this?
Simpler days.
Hey, Simpler Days. How you doing?
Well, do we know if Coach Tuberville is still being paid by Auburn?
I have no clue.
What was that payoff number, Joey? Do you remember?
Millions. I'll just leave it there. I don't know the actual number.
$100 million.
It was a pretty hefty million number, and I think Cincinnati paid him too. So I just can't feel sorry for Coach. He's not your average. Not like Katie coming in there for sure. So I don't think they can really feel our pain, and I hope Senator Brett addresses that when she comes on. Does somebody have a plan to get inflation down? I went to Home Depot this morning to get some pine straw. For the last few years, I'd be paying $4 or $5, and I'd gripe about it, $5. I went up there today, and it was $10.98 a bale.
Damn.
I'm going to have to go with packing material and just spray paint it brown.
Yep.
I'll have a good day.
Thank you, Simpler Days. 272-9228. No, what spurred me to ask Tuberville about is I was watching, I think it was the Homeland Security Committee, and Josh Hawley's pushing this bill to ban stock trading by sitting members of Congress. But there was a fascinating back and forth that didn't split along usual lines, or even like Mitt Romney and Rand Paul are kind of agreeing, where there was one point of the bill where if you even nominate yourself to run for office, you have to divest from even your own small private.
I thought that was a bit much.
Yeah,
Yes.
over the top.
One of the few times I agree with Mitt Romney, which is so rare.
Yeah, and so, but it ended up being like a productive, interesting back and forth. Okay, how do we do this? In fact, I think where they were getting towards makes sense, where you can still have securities, you just cannot trade them. That, like, once you're an actual sitting member,
Goes into a blind trust.
right? You literally cannot trade. So, like, and also there's things in the bill where staff could still trade, legislative staff.
No, they got the same information.
They're the
we
ones who
got.
really have the inside stuff. So it's, I think it's a mess. But when you look at some of these returns, especially from folks that have been up there, and this is what Tuberville said in his answer to me, that he's fine. Like, he didn't make all his money up there.
Right.
He's made plenty of money in life. Whereas you look at folks who have been in the Congress for decades and they're now filthy rich.
Right.
Rich as sin. Emphasis on sin. They, something's got to be drawn in and like reined in. So I don't know. I
don't have a good solution.
I don't.
I
either.
don't.
Because it starts to border on all money is bad.
Yeah.
Sort of the sort of socialist territory, which I'm not a huge fan
If
of.
you had term limits, that would probably
Would
solve
take care
that
of a lot of it.
problem.
Yep.
Where you come in, do your 4 years. You don't maybe you don't have to sell all your holdings, but you can't buy anymore during this period of time. You'll get compensated a reasonable amount, and then when your 4 years are done, bye.
Right.
And then
My uncle has always had this idea of politicians cannot take any donations.
Yeah.
And your salary is like 2-3 million, or whatever the number needs to be. Essentially, buy them out, and you cannot touch a dime from anywhere else while you're taking this money.
Yeah, but
that's one way that would restrict
You're
things.
trusting people, and people are
Right,
flawed.
Right.
Yeah. Did you ever see the
I'll sell you this house for $1. Right. Sort of thing. Right.
Yeah. Did you ever watch the Wall Street sequel with what was his
Shia
name?
LaBeouf.
Shia LaBeouf. Shia LaBeouf. No, there's a great line in that he asked this guy who's some big hedge fund manager type, and he's like, "What's your number? What's the number that you would need in order to just leave it all behind and walk away?" And his answer was more. And those are
So true.
And those are the people that are typically drawn to positions of power. Where how much would it take for you not to be corrupt?
Well, a lot of
More.
times you hit that number, or what you have that number in your head, and you're like, I'm only halfway there.
Well, it's like Han Solo. Well, I can imagine quite a lot.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I'm continuously making more money as I get older, but inflation is just keeping me at the same
the broke
place.
factor still kicking
Dude,
me. I
'cause
don't
if you
get
would
that.
have told me, dude, if I was like 16 making the money I'm making now, it would have been game over for a lot of people.
Right.
But now it's like I got family responsibilities and inflation's all over the place. I have to be so tame.
No, and I've noticed I'm doing all right, but the dollar does not go as far by any means.
What's the point of a dollar bill? What can you get for a dollar bill? Like a can of soda at an.
Can't even get a candy bar.
You can get it at the like Walmart machine. You can probably get one for $1.
Yeah,
That's about it.
But the bottles are like $1.50 now.
Yeah,
so it
yeah,
has to be
at
a
least.
can.
Yeah.
So that's literally we have an entire piece of currency dedicated to buying cans of soda.
Yeah.
Well, and it comes back to like I already was going with Trump for the dancing.
Yeah.
Because I just want to see more of the. You know.
Man.
He's got some celebratory dance in him.
Somebody needs to put like a Cardi B song to that, because Cardi B backed Biden, right? And she's now done with politics. I wonder if Megan Thee is going to make that own decision down after this election. There are some celebrities I kind of like those stories. They get involved in politics and they go, "Ooh,
Get out.
ew."
Yep.
You're messing with that tall and orangey.
Right, they are. But it wasn't just the dancing. Now it's speaking of the orange pill, Bitcoin. I really am. That Bitcoin conference last weekend was, I love what Trump was throwing down.
Oh, yeah.
It was awesome. Really great perspective. And it gives me a lot of hope. And I already had faith in that technology, like just confidence in it and what it could do. But to see, we might get a presidential candidate and now a president, hopefully, that is backing Bitcoin innovation, wanting a strategic stockpile of Bitcoin at the national level. I've been trying to get, in my own feckless way, to get Alabama to do this.
Yeah.
Hey, how much better you'd be sitting pretty if you put $500 million of your ARPA funds into a Bitcoin strategic fund. You'd be sitting all right.
Yeah.
I don't know about all that funny money Bitcoin.
Right.
Even RFK talked about it because the federal government actually does own, I think like 500,000 Bitcoin, something like that. And he said that his first day he would do an executive order to have it transferred over to the Department of Treasury and held in security as a legitimate currency.
Well, and I would encourage folks, if you're interested, I think the best pitch over the last weekend, just look up Bitcoin 2024 Michael Saylor. And he, with a bunch of graphics so you can really understand it, where he's coming from, was talking about, say, if you had money today and you wanted to keep its value or gain a little value over time, what's the best thing to invest in? So what do people normally do? Well, you could buy precious metals. You could buy a house.
Real estate.
His estimate was you keep your value with real estate actually about 18 years because of things like taxes. Because you're always being eaten into and all these things. And like you could do a treasury bond, like all these stuff. He laid out, here's how long you're actually going to hold that original value.
Mm-hmm.
And he found with the best thing would probably be you could do Bitcoin through a third party like an ETF, or you could actually do self-custody.
Yeah.
And whether it's the state of Alabama or it's El Salvador or it's the United States government that buys into this and shores up their finances with this, I think, brilliant innovation, it's going to pay off in the future.
Oh, it is.
And what's cool is seeing more and more folks who are actually in finance. I can't even begin to talk about it in a sophisticated way. I just kind of believe in this new tech. I would love to see folks with the brains, with the experience here in the state get behind this thing. Be like, just guys, go study it for 100 hours. Like, I'm not you. You know a lot more than me. Just go study this thing for 100 hours. Do your due diligence. Treat it like this might potentially be the thing everybody's saying it is. If you, after 100 hours, go, no, it ain't, fine. But maybe look at it.
Here's the thing, though, Joey. We'll take good money and throw it down a rabbit hole of crap ideas instead of taking a little bit of money like that actually might do something good.
Yeah.
You know what's the best way to exemplify this? When you look at Bitcoin and the people pushing Bitcoin, you can go to so many websites and they have essentially what are lecture series about what Bitcoin is. Okay, this is how it works. This is how you do this, X, Y, and Z. Where does the federal government do that for anything like paying taxes or how our insurance system works?
Right.
Or how any of these things meant to just absolutely screw you work. So the fact that there's this much transparency should be indicative in and of itself that the technology is somewhat corruption proof for the most part.
And the folks who really don't like it understand in the long term, Bitcoin will remove some, I don't think all, but it will remove some of the control they're used to now.
Yeah.
That the Chinese did this. In 2013, the Chinese cut off all major bank facilitating of transactions to buy Bitcoin. So if you're a bank, you cannot help somebody buy Bitcoin in China.
Okay.
And in the statement, the Chinese central bank, the People's Bank of China, said, money is not a private property, right? Money is a means of political control. It is what the authority says it is. It's a very old idea. Like, you can go back thousands of years in that part of the world. That money is a means of the government authority to exert political control and dominion. Whereas in the West, we've had some of that mentality, but we've also had the mentality, no, your money is your money.
Right. You can do with what you want.
Right. And we've had this weird settlement, like kind of compromise for the last 100 years, and it's gone more and more away from being your private property to being a means of government control and dominion. So we'll see where it goes, but Trump making the promises he made, that's enough for me. I'm a single issue voter in that regard, I suppose.
And what about old Free Ross? He said
that was great too.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's saying, I'm going to put a libertarian in the cabinet. Not like, I think that would be a good choice for some of those departments. So he's making a lot of promises. Who knows if he actually follows through? You could say that, I think, about both Trump and Kamala. You could say that about any politician running. Like, they make promises and they don't follow through. Like, I've just learned this.
I think Scott Horton would make a great Secretary of State.
Yes. Yeah, I could just see Scott Horton up there at a cocktail party. How well they'd like him at Foggy Bottom.
Oh, yeah.
This part of the program brought to you by Clearwater's Property Management. And there at Clearwater's, Reed Waters and his team are ready to help you with tree removal, tree trimming, or stump grinding. So it could be that tree in the back, it's on its last leg.
Right.
Well, take it down before it falls and hurts somebody or damages your property.
Falls on your house.
Or it could be you're looking to prune back these branches overhanging the home, or maybe there are branches smacking up against the siding, and it's annoying. You're like, it's not a big deal. No, it is. It's going to cause a lot of damage over time. Or it could be like a line of sight issue, or your driveway's blocked. They can help you with tree trimming, of course, and then stump grinding, that ugly stump. You want to get rid of it.
I think so.
And it's not just a eyesore. It's probably attracting termites and other
pests.
critters like snakes and stuff.
Yep.
So check out Clearwater's Property Management today. They can help you with all of these services when it comes to tree removal, tree trimming, and stump grinding. 430-0376 is our number. That's 430-0376. And be sure to tell them, well, you heard about them here on News and Views in the afternoon. We'll be right back.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Hi there, I'm Madeline Cannon with Alabama Home Mortgage. Getting pre-approved is the first step towards home ownership. People are often scared or nervous about taking that first step, but I'll tell you, it's nothing to be scared of. At Alabama Home Mortgage, we will take the first step and every step along the way with you. Call us at 567-4223. We will gather the information needed to tell you exactly what you qualify for. After a call to Alabama Home Mortgage, you will know what price point to shop for, what down payment is required, if any, and what your monthly mortgage payment will look like. We take all the guessing out of it. Then, when you find the house you want to make your home, you are ready to make an offer. Along with your offer, you will submit your Alabama Home Mortgage pre-approval letter. This shows sellers that you've already taken the steps necessary to ensure that you qualify to purchase their home. Wait no longer. It's time to take that first step together. Call me at 567-4223 or start the process online at myalabamahomemortgage.com.
That's Alabama Home Mortgage because, folks, there is a difference in mortgage companies. NMLS 1586-36-8, Equal Housing Lender.
This is your roving reporter, and today I am talking with an elk. Hey man, Mr. Elk, I was just wondering, what do elk do to take care of their money? Well, like most smart folks, we call David Erdit. You mean Alabama's most favorite asset preservationist? That's him, man. We call him up at 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. I see. Yes, he is our preferred money man. The money man with the money plan. You've been paying attention. Well, could you give us those numbers one more time? 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I just want to try to give you a heads up, man. Oh, what's that? I'm not an elk. Not an elk, huh? Well, then, pray tell, what are you? Knights of Columbus. I am not even going to make a comment. Well, the baby liked it.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com. This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Hi, this is Jeff Mallinson with Georgia Floors Direct, and I want to talk to you about Blue Water Broadcast and how they've helped my business spread the word. As every small business owner, I have to look at my advertising dollars carefully, and Blue Water Broadcast helps me get the most for every dollar I spend. I'm so glad to be a part of Blue Water Broadcasting and what they bring to Montgomery.
Our advertisers are our biggest advocates. Call us to find out how radio can increase your bottom line. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of Riverside Chevrolet Wetumpka. If it's Chevy, it's Riverside. Best price, best selection. Check them out on the web at riversideusa.net.
Well, hi, everybody. The first weekend of August, in one word, is oppressive. Even the nights are tough to handle with low temperatures in the upper 70s and incredible humidity. I've got us in the mid to upper 90s on Saturday and mid 90s on Sunday with triple-digit heat indices into the danger range again. Rain chances this evening just about minimal. Not quite zero, but close. Over the weekend, slightly better rain chances. Widely scattered storms, mostly in the afternoon and evening hours. And not much change as we get into Monday. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Have the best looking lawn in the neighborhood with help from Capital Tractor. Web Bobo here. Don't miss our Buy a Mower, Get a Blower sale going on now. Buy any Kubota mower on our lot and get a Steel handheld blower absolutely free. Kubota and Capital Tractor, Montgomery, Brundage, and Greenville.
Live local talk. The River Region's only 24-hour News Talk FM station. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Let's go right to the phones and talk to TS. Hey, TS, how you doing?
Guten Tag, gringos.
Did you say Guten Tag, gringos?
Yes, that's for that's for the Olympics and everything. I was, doing some different languages. Yeah.
Nice.
Hello, guys.
Hello.
Hey, look, I gotta hurry because Katie Britt's coming on.
Mm-hmm.
At least she's not coming on the Friday that all we talked about was poop.
Right.
Poop in the pants. Thank you, Jesus. Have you guys ever had to take the be on the oh my gosh, the brat diet?
The brat diet? No.
Okay, you don't ever want to be on it. Bananas, rice, apples, and toast.
Oh, that sounds miserable.
It's terrible. You want everything else, but you can't have it till they figure out what's wrong with you. Okay, I love you guys. Let's get ready for Miss Britt.
Absolutely.
Love you more. Bye.
So, TS mentioning the Olympics there, and I know there are folks still a bit salty, and rightfully so, about that opening ceremony, and then also the Dirty River, and also, of course, the boxing, transgender boxing. But just remember, folks, it's a fact that the French have never won an SEC championship, and this will make people uncomfortable. Let's go to the phones and talk to the United States Senator Katie Britt. How you doing today, Katie?
I'm doing well. Well played. Nice intro there. It's always good to be on with you, and certainly in front of all of your listeners. Thank you so much, Joey, for the opportunity. And that is a fact. The French have never won an SEC championship.
Yeah, it might be one of the greatest things an elected official has ever said. So there's so much going on. And before we get into, say, the politicking and what's going on around the world, let's talk about some of the work you're doing, especially in regards to child care. Could you first lay out the problem and then the potential solution to the problem?
Yeah, so look, when we look across the country, it does not matter what we're talking about or what area. I mean, in Alabama, if I am in a more urban area or a more rural area, the cost of childcare, and the availability. So both the affordability and the availability consistently comes up. You know, I kind of go back to when I was a young mom and I was trying to re-enter the workforce and trying to figure out how to make it all work. And when I started writing checks to send my children to daycare for childcare, I felt like I was actually writing a check for college. And so we know we've got to figure out how to fix this. Unfortunately, Democrats have come out with some proposals that create yet another entitlement. When you are $35 trillion in debt, when entitlements and interest on the debt take up about 72% of what we spend every single year, creating another entitlement is absolutely not the answer. And so what this does is I came together with Senator Tim Kaine, and the two of us tried to think about common sense solutions where we could put parents back in the driver's seat and put their tax dollars back in their pocket so that they could afford child care and other things as parents. And so we're excited about it. It expands the child tax credit, the child development, or it's called the CDTC, you know, all these letters, Joey, as you well know.
Child Independent Care Tax Credit. I got it right in front of me. So.
And then also it decouples that from the DCAP. And what that'll be able to do is just allow us to get more money back into parents' pockets. Additionally, it allows businesses, it expands that tax credit from $150,000 to $500,000, encouraging them to help their workers in this way and help provide an offset here for childcare. And then it also allows small businesses to pool their resources together up to $600,000 for a credit. So what we're trying to do here, obviously, is put more money back into people's pockets, knowing that they can spend it much better than the federal government can. And then, additionally, it helps with our workforce issues, which will ultimately help for the bottom line for the U.S., for our entire economy. I think it's going to add, you look at it, and it's about $122 billion a year we lose because of child care issues. And as we look at our labor participation rate, those people who have the opportunity to stay home and want that, I want them to have that opportunity. But for people who want to reenter the workforce, but the impediment to that is being able to find affordable or available child care, we want to help create a solution on that. So I'm excited about it, and as we take a look at the tax code in general, as you know, there have been a number of conversations about that over the last few weeks, and that's certainly something that will be being looked at in a new Congress, hopefully within a Republican majority and a Republican in the White House. We want to make sure that this is top of mind because we know that the demand for child care is high, which is why availability and affordability are an issue. So we all obviously are working on that as well, trying to build the supply through a legislation that really kind of balances out supply and demand. And hopefully that'll decrease cost and increase options long term.
And, my follow-up was, and you already hinted at it, that how much can get done in a Chuck Schumer-controlled Senate, even bipartisan things like you just spoke to. It seems, I don't know, how much can get done here now that we're in the thick of election season?
Honestly, Joey, probably not much. And that every bit of that is on Chuck Schumer's shoulders. He has chosen this pathway, and he's done it not just in an election time. He's done it this entire Congress. I mean, if you just look over the last few months, he's chosen to use this time where our border is wide open, where people's dollar is not going as far, where we literally have crisis across the globe. And he has, instead of fixing those things, instead of taking a look at the fact that they're making us more energy dependent on other nations, what is that doing to America's economy, et cetera? Instead of fixing these things, he's chosen to bring up a summer of scare tactics and showboats. He's brought up about birth control, which is clearly legal in every state. He's brought up IVF, which is clearly legal in every state. He continues down this road. He did that then again this week. There was a package together that he never let come through regular order. It did not go through the Finance Committee. And then we saw there on the floor, he said we wouldn't have an opportunity to amend it. So he's not interested in legislating. If he was, he would have put the social media bill on the floor much earlier. He would have taken a look at the NDAA, and we would have already passed that. The House has passed 5 appropriations bills. We've marked up 11, and yet he's not put one on the floor. So he's not interested in legislating, and there are things that are bipartisan, like the My Lake and Riley Act. It is a bipartisan piece of legislation. We know that it would save lives, and he refuses to even allow us to put it on the floor and have debate in front of the American people. He knows if we're able to honestly discuss these things, Joey, that the American people are going to realize that we are right on policy and that what we're pushing forward is right for America as well. So he's trying to continue his summer of show votes, and when we get back, it'll be a fall of fear-mongering. So there is a lack of leadership, and unfortunately, the American people are paying the price.
Well, and again, folks, we're talking to United States Senator Katie Britt. I couldn't help but notice as I played a lion's share of it live here on these airwaves, Netanyahu's speech. I saw you there right in the front row. Number one, what was it like being there in the chamber? And then a little more serious question, where do you think this is going? I have concerns that wider war is possible with some of the mixed signals being sent right now in the world.
Yeah, look, we have a lot to discuss on this topic. I will start with the chamber. First off, I thought Netanyahu's address was excellent. I thought he spoke directly to so many points. I appreciated many of the things that he pointed out in there, and I feel like overall in the chamber, obviously it was very well received. However, noticeably absent was Kamala Harris. And Joey, I'm over it. There are very few jobs that she has as the Vice President of the United States. She was given the border, and unfortunately she has failed there. I mean, completely and totally failed. She's supposed to stand in for Biden during ceremonial things, which she failed to greet Netanyahu there on the tarmac. And then she chose to not be in the chair to preside over a joint session, which is something that the Vice President always does. And instead she went to a conference, and look, happy for you to go to a conference, but that conference was 5 days long. She could have gone at any point in time. But the bottom line is that she continues to undermine Israel. She does, President Biden does. Look, credible American deterrence is needed to prevent further escalation, and that's what we need to do, is prevent further escalation. And sustainable peace, it only comes through strength. Obviously, Reagan preached it. We saw Trump practice it. And Iran doesn't think that Kamala Harris has Israel's back. And that ultimately, Joey, is dangerous. It will lead to further aggression and further war. I mean, we have seen it already, and at every turn we see Democrats, we see this administration undermine Israel, put her on softer footing, which unfortunately creates not only more chaos there in the Middle East, but chaos across the globe. It's truly ridiculous.
And, it's amazing to say Kamala Harris is the nominee. This month, these last few weeks have just absolutely been a whirlwind, absolutely insane, from the assassination attempt to the convention to Biden being knocked out, and now Kamala is the candidate. We were talking earlier today on the show that a lot of folks seem to think Trump stepped in it at the conference he recently did with black journalists, but he, I think, laid a predicate that I then saw VP nominee Vance pick up, that Harris is a bit of a chameleon and will say whatever she needs to say to whatever crowd she's in front of. And it seems like this is going to be less about her, say, identity and more about her record. It seems she's running away from every policy she once gave a hug to.
Oh, absolutely, Joey. And I know you, and you will dive into all of these things, but that is exactly right. I mean, she is flip-flopping on policy. She seems to not actually even know where she stands on some of these things. I mean, I watched the video of her the other day where it was, a few years ago, where she was, telling people we can't say Merry Christmas. I mean, you look at her energy policy, absolutely no fracking, no offshore drilling. Does she just want, number one, does she want the American economy to crumble, and does she want to give our adversaries a huge win? Because that's exactly what you do if you don't allow us to utilize our own natural resources. We do it better, we do it cleaner, we do it more efficiently than anyone across the globe. And when we depend on other people, it makes Iran stronger, it makes Russia stronger. I mean, this is just common sense. So she's pretending that she wouldn't decriminalize illegal border crossings when she said very clearly that she was. Then I heard the other day She said she was blaming the border crisis on President Trump, which couldn't be further from the truth. I mean, you look at the facts. The Biden administration actually inherited the most secure border of all time. They did 94 executive orders in the first 100 days. They said, we're going to stop deportations, we're stop building the wall. And they literally said, we are going to give amnesty to millions. You look at how far left she is. Then she's come back in and said, oh, well, he stopped the supplemental border deal. Joey, let me tell you something. If she was, in quote, in charge of the border, she should have been right in the middle of those negotiations. I guarantee you she probably could not tell you the first thing about all of those negotiations because she wasn't a part of them, because she didn't take her job seriously. And so I keep looking all around and watching when she embraced the defund the police movement. Now she pretends that she's tough on crime. It's just at every turn it's a 180. I think there is a reason she finished at 3% in the presidential and the Democrat presidential primary. And I think that once this sugar high is over and we all kind of sort of settle back down after Labor Day, the American people are going to look at policy to policy. And when you compare those, there is no doubt that her policies move this nation in the wrong direction. And the policies of a Trump administration and a Republican Senate and a Republican House are exactly what we need to get this country back on track.
There you go. Well, I always appreciate your time. I find that this is the table doesn't seem fully set. Like I'm looking at the Dow down almost 2% today. It seems like some other shoe is going to drop before we actually start voting in November. Maybe that's just my gut sense, but I mean, what do you think? That have you seen events move this quickly ever?
No. Right. You are spot on. I was talking to someone the other day, Joey, and I said everything that we've dealt with over the last, let's just say 2 months, they're generational moments. They are moments that, would define an entire time period. And we have had those layered on top of each other with very few days or weeks in between. And so I think America really hasn't even processed all of the things that we've been through. And to your point, I'm not sure that it's we're completely set. I mean, you look at what's happening in the Middle East. You look at this administration not firmly standing behind Israel, what that's inviting from Iran. I mean, that cannot be underestimated. You look at the aggression just across the globe. You look at these trades that this administration is making. You look at the quote plea deal that was done down at Quantico. It just there is a lot of news cycles between now and then, and I think that you are spot on in saying that look, the past few weeks, I mean, truly have felt like a decade.
Yeah, truly. Well, I do appreciate the time. Let's keep the conversation going. If you're ever in town, I apologize for our gnarly. It's a little bunch of dudes here in this studio. It's a little gross, but you're always welcome.
Hey, I will definitely come in. I will be home, and so I will make sure that we get some time for me to actually come in studio. And again, I appreciate being in front of your listeners and know that we are working hard every day to make a difference.
Well, thank you, Senator. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Again, folks, United States Senator Katie Britt. Yeah, it just seems like we're dealing with unprecedented times, and my sense is we don't know. We have no clue. No clue whatsoever. And, I like the idea of deterrence, peace through strength.
Mm-hmm.
With this the current lay of the land, who's actually in charge right now, is like, well, who is in charge? Is it Jake Sullivan? Is it Tony Blinken? What are we going to send the signal? Okay, we'll defend you, but then hold back a little bit. Like, if Iran really does do a full-on attack, okay, are we in the middle of it? How? Like, it just seems like we're playing with fire, and we shouldn't be at this point. Oh, and not to mention, didn't even talk about it, Ukraine's right there to the top. Right. So, like, if I'm China, maybe I'm looking at Taiwan right now. Like, there's a lot to that. And you got to wonder, is the United States, this is something I truly believe, in a position to be able to deal with all that at the same time? I don't think so. And it's a testament to, what did we say earlier this week? 76% of all income taxes last month went to pay off just the interest on the debt. Yep. So if you are essentially because we're the world reserve, it's not happening anytime soon, but you're essentially near bankruptcy. Most of your tax revenue is going to just service your debt. You don't have the weapons that you need. You don't have the stockpiles by any means. In many ways, we're still spending money on things that we don't need, that are sort of relics of the past that people use as full employment job programs.
Green New Deal.
Like what that conversation we had with Arthur Herman last Friday. That we need smaller things that are less expensive that you could stockpile, underwater things, a lot more drone use. And just, I'm looking at the situation going, where are the folks in charge? And it's not Joe Biden. No. And even if Kamala Harris wins in November, I doubt it's her. And you got to suspect, based on the first time Trump became president, that if you get Trump back in there, how much are they going to let him actually govern? Because they did everything within their power to stop him, and there's probably going to be more. So we'll see. We'll see. And it comes back to everyday things. Folks, I think the average person doesn't care about all that stuff I said.
No.
I think they do care about, like, damn, I'm working this job, and I have to pay how many thousands of dollars to send my kid to this place?
Yep.
So that sort of work needs to be done too. But it's just, we're in a spot we shouldn't be in, and there are a lot of people to blame for that. And unfortunately, they're the ones who still hold the cards, hold the reins.
Mm-hmm. They're not doing anything to get us out.
Yep.
They're just digging the hole deeper.
Right.
They're just trying to see how far they can get it. How close can we get to the precipice of oblivion?
Apparently.
Yeah.
And then we'll get it fixed. But the problem is, it's like, sometimes you hit the brakes and the car doesn't stop immediately.
Yeah, we'll just manage it. Oh, yeah, like you manage an addiction, right?
Yeah.
And just stretch the soup a little.
I can handle it, man.
Right.
I'm cool, dude.
I'm a man.
I'm cool.
Yeah.
How many times have you heard that? Hey, you should probably. I think you've had enough. No, I'm good, man. I'm good. Cool.
Just let me use the bathroom.
Yeah. Why is that so ubiquitous with drunks getting kicked out of somewhere?
It's just, I don't know.
It's like
instantly buys you time.
It's like the alcohol is a demon and it gets in your ear. Just say you have to go to the bathroom.
And if it's a chick,
the
dude's going to go, oh, okay.
Yeah.
He's going to fall for it just about every time.
This will reclaim your dignity.
Yep.
This will mean that you leave with honor because they submit to your will.
Right.
Say you have to potty.
This part of the program brought to you by Pest Pro Services. And they're at Pest Pro. Ashley and that great team are ready to help you with all your pest control needs. From a particular job, maybe you want to get mosquito treatment like Eddie's done here.
Yep.
It works.
It
works beautifully. Maybe you actually enjoy sitting on the front porch or by the pool in the backyard. And you don't want to be eaten up by mosquitoes.
No, even though it's 110 degrees outside, you still would like to have your peace and quiet.
Yeah. Because that would be the one thing that would ruin actually sitting out and enjoying yourself.
Heaters.
And they always go for the ankles.
Yeah, they do.
Or maybe you need inspection or termite treatment. Oof. They can help you there at Pest Pro Services.
Remember, in Alabama, it's not a matter of if you have termites. It is a matter of when.
Matter of when, indeed, Eddie. And also, they can be your everyday pest control company. So it doesn't have to be you have a particular job. Just if you want a local company that does a fantastic work, and, well, they're giving back to the local community as well, go with Pest Pro. That number, 265-9990. That's 265-9990. Or you can always go to ppsriverregion.com or just search Pest Pro Services on the Book of Faces. When you want to know, call a pro, Pest Pro Services, and be sure to tell Ashley and that great team that Joey and Eddie, throw in Craig for bonus points. Those fellas on the radio sent you.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Craving authentic Italian? Every Friday and Saturday evening, Epicure and Jack's Tavern transforms into an Italian paradise. From homemade pasta to classic Italian specialties, let them transport you to Italy. Their executive chef, Glenn Tarantino, crafts every dish to perfection.
Discover a world of exquisite wines at Epicure and Jack's Tavern. From La Crema to Camus, enjoy their full line of wines at below retail prices, perfect for dine-in or carry-out. Savor the flavors of top-tier wines without breaking the bank. Experience the wine wonderland at Epicure and Jack's Tavern.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
On FM, on your smartphone, and online, the River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. Only like 7 shopping minutes left. And honestly, I'm glad it's the weekend. And, well, we got plans for this weekend. I'm looking forward to eating some steak.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it should be tasty.
Eddie's will be more tasty because he won't be paying for it.
It's all green card all the time. I don't want to see your card flipped over to red. First guy that flips over to red, well, they have to leave a tip. Never mind, that might be me. Last couple times I've gone, I swear I've like planned all day, didn't eat anything, and then could eat for like 5 minutes and just sat there. Bored.
That's a rookie move. You gotta
What do I do?
prepare.
Just keep it normal.
Yeah, just keep it normal.
Don't go with the sides.
Yeah. Oh no, stay away from the side. Even though they have
They're
a heck
good.
of a tempting salad bar, stay away.
Salad bar.
They got a barrel like this big of just bacon at the salad bar.
Oh yeah, that could be a problem.
Yeah.
What about like do they have like bread and rice and stuff like that?
Yeah, oh yeah. There's plenty of options that fills you up without you eating too much steak.
I just
Yeah.
want steak and coffee. That's all I want.
Steak and coffee.
I'll be getting a nice diet soda that just keeps everything nice and roomy.
Man versus beard. That's what he uses.
That's what he uses.
Let's go to Ray Bowles from Prattville Carpet. Hey, Ray.
Hey, I need to try that steak and coffee. That's a good idea.
That's a man's kind of dinner right there. Steak and coffee.
The problem with me eating coffee at night, I'm like a squirrel on crack cocaine.
I'm the
And
opposite.
I can't go to sleep. And I'm poking Angie, I'm like touching Angie. Are you asleep? Hey, are you asleep? Hey, are you asleep? And so every now and then I'll get in one of these aggravate moods, and I'll drink coffee right before I go to bed. And about 3 in the morning, when she's trying to find the number to the divorce lawyer, I go to the other side of the house.
Do you remember where I put my
That's right,
acorns?
gotta
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, but I tell you what, if y'all need floors, call us 285-8117. We'll come out and give you that free measurement. I've just headed back to the store to figure it up, and within a week you'll have a new floor down. Just that simple.
Just that simple, folks. Again, that number 285-8117. And when you call 285-8117, be sure to tell them you heard Ray Bowles here on the radio with Joey and Eddie.
Guys, have a great day.
You too. Well, what did we learn today, gentlemen? Anything?
Katie seemed to be in a good mood.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's not black-pilled.
No, she
No.
seems hopeful.
Yep.
And I don't know if I completely share that sentiment.
Dude, it depends on what I had for breakfast, doesn't it?
Yeah,
like,
I
it's
know.
like
Some days are great,
Yeah.
but man, I look at especially Twitter sometimes and I'm like,
I've realized that it's something I've had to address. It's like I'll wake up first thing in the morning. I'm still sort of groggy. I'll grab my phone and go sit down to do my morning ablutions, and then I've realized that the first thing that I'm doing is I'm jumping on Twitter, and I'm like, oh, this is a mistake.
Yep.
This
This is how I get in the mindset of let the nukes fly.
Yeah.
Let the
yeah,
giant
yeah.
meteor come on
Giant
down.
meteor. Welcome meteor. Maybe those people stuck in the space station can go and just like kick one in our direction.
Yeah, and I really do think, because you just heard, I think she was kind of doing that on the fly about Kamala.
Yeah.
Like, this is where it's going, folks, that, it's going to be about, Trump said an awful thing. No, it's going to be about how she is a phony chameleon.
Right.
Like, somebody's going to take the Boy George song, and it's not going to be Karma Chameleon, it's going to be Kamala Chameleon.
That's not a bad idea.
Like,
but she's just so bad. Why is she so awful?
right. And she can kind of, like, when she's given that straight speech, like
Yeah.
reading the prompter, but as soon as she has to improvise, it seems to go off the rails. Though it really is night and day, and it's not just Kamala. Most anybody else in politics, watch a Trump rally.
Yeah.
And you're like, dadgum, this is something completely unique.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen anything like this in modern American
Well, at
politics.
least say this for Donald Trump. He doesn't do this ingratiating Ebonics voice, depending on the audience that he's in. Like, let me tell y'all something, some collard greens, y'all. It's just like, what, huh? What are you doing?
Yeah.
Walk it like you talk it.
She's like, sound like Robert Downey Jr. in Tropic Thunder.
Great movie.
It is.
Hey, some crawfish, y'all.
Well, then because of that Comic-Con reveal that Downey's back in the MCU as Doctor Doom, folks have been creating like posters where he's playing every character. And it's like,
I wish they would do that movie again.
Tropic Thunder was
It's just amazing.
a very good
I
one.
think
But
it's the greatest, the last great American comedy.
the,
And Kenny Powers in the backside of it.
yeah,
That's great.
I think I saw Trump at one of his rallies. He invited up the woman. She looked about my age.
Yeah.
like,
Yes.
a beautiful lady.
Yes.
And he said, I love you so much. He was like kissing her on the cheek. I love you. You saved my life.
Mm-hmm.
You saved me. You saved my life. And then she gets out of there quick because it's a packed crowd. And as she's kind of fast walking away, I love you. You saved my life. And I'm like, this. I haven't seen anything ever like this.
I'd hate to be her DMs right about now.
Yeah. I think she was thinking that. Like, oh no, here comes the heat.
I'm not trying to brag or anything, but I have 24 MAGA hats. They're all different colors.
That would have to be the weirdest thing. Like, how'd you two meet? Well, we both went to a Trump rally.
Yeah. He got me a Trumpy
I'm
bear,
sure
and
there's
I
a few
knew
of
he
them
was the
out
one
Oh,
for me.
definitely, man.
There's got to be a lot of Trump rally love stories out there. I'm sure they're intolerable couples, but it's probably a good story.
Though some might be wholesome and
They
fun.
probably just watch Fox News till they just pass out drunk in front of the TV.
I
That's
don't
a
watch Fox. I
marriage.
watch Newsmax.
Yeah, Newsmax. That's right. Newsmax.
I don't watch any of that stuff now.
Me neither. I don't own I don't have. Where do people watch their news? Who are these people still buying cable?
I had to
boxes?
sign back up for cable because
YouTube
football's
TV.
coming back around.
Oh,
And
yeah.
YouTube TV.
That
That's what we did. We signed back up for that, and it's the only way I can watch football.
Yeah.
I used to subscribe to a lot of the state news sites, and then I realized I know everything they know before they do.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and I just only got a few seconds here. My grandfather just wanted to watch the opening of last night's preseason game, the
Yeah.
first big preseason game, just to see the new kickoff. And I watched it with him. I'm like, I kind of like this.
You like it?
I think it's actually going to lead to more returns.
Really?
Yes, because they're like, what, 10 yards apart? So there's no sprinting down
There's
the
no-
field.
yeah.
And so it makes it a much more dynamic play.
Huh.
And I think it is going to lead to more returns for touchdowns. It'd be that's going to be fascinating to watch. I kind of like the change because you could go back to the old way, which was fine, but this new way where it's so close, they always
I wanna
kick
keep
it through the
action
back of the
going.
end
Yeah, I
zone.
want to keep some action going.
Yeah, so this might work out, and they I guess stole it from the XFL.
Yeah.
And it should be a lot of fun.
Best camera angles ever. They
Mhm.
stole that from the XFL.
Oh yeah. Well, they had some of that going. You got to go listen. It's a guy in Huntsville, Conrad Thompson, with Bruce Pritchard.
Yeah.
Something to wrestle about. There's a whole episode about the XFL and Bruce interviewing people. Oh my God, it's hilarious. And it's just such a different America.
Yeah.
Where he had to interview all the women that would be the reporters on the field. Yes. Like here's our medical report. So, honey, are you a nurse or are you a doctor? I work at a doctor's office. Oh. You're good enough. All right.
Sold.
Let's get out of here. Greg Vidal, Rosie, they're next.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusada, News Talk 90.